Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, December 12th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on the ON Report today. Drama in D.C. Drama in D.C. I will tell you, a lot of the drama is focused around Epstein right now, as you have the Democrats releasing a bunch of Epstein photos. They're teasing that they haven't even released the worst of them. You can believe that or not. We'll get more into detail as far as that's concerned. But the ones that have been released are certainly not good. There's some extremely odd things in these photos. But I think the real drama is going to be over the Affordable Care Act. And there's a couple of things that are set to happen in 2026 that nobody's really talking about. And the two things are the expiration on the Affordable Care Act, which is going to cause these prices to go up 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. You see people starting to talk about that. And now some Republicans are saying, look, we've got to vote. We've got to extend this Affordable Care Act because people's healthcare premiums are about to quadruple. We just have to do it. And so that's causing some infighting. And if they don't get a deal done, you're going to see some serious drama when it comes to the Affordable Care Act next year. And then there's the debt, where the interest payments are about to increase as well. This is all happening in 2026, folks. And then Trump's going to get a new Fed chair. He's going to demand he cut rates. This is a lot of Christmas drama. Building, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've got so much news. We've got geopolitical news on the Venezuela front. There have been some developments there. I can't believe, because I know we're all sick of it, but here we go again. I can't believe the amount of propaganda pouring in from Israel. And it's always more. It's always record breaking. It's like there's no way it could get any worse. There's no way there could be any more of it. And then it just gets worse. And there's more of it. So we'll be breaking all of that. And there's new demands now, by the way. There's new demands. There's new admissions as they're losing ground in the argument. So now they're being forced to make new admissions. It's like, okay, yeah, we were killing kids. So what? It's like, yeah, we're gonna censor you and deport you if you don't support Israel. So what? That's where they're at now. That's where they're at now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've got a bunch of leftovers that is going to kind of tie into all this. We're going to be trying to go pedal to the metal today. That's my goal, is pedal to the metal, because there's so much to cover, and the leftovers from this week, I'm going to try to get it all off the desk. I'm going to try to get it all off the docket in the next 3 hours. By the way, a prediction I made yesterday has come true today. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting a 24-hour turnaround, but we got one today. What did I predict yesterday that came true today? And then I'm going to explain, too, why it's like this week has kind of been a breaking point for me. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is all happening before Christmas, before the new year. But I'm going to explain why this week and maybe yesterday you get one free crash out in crash out season. You get one freebie. So we took our freebie yesterday. It was a gimme. But this week has been really devastating to anybody that was an OG MAGA and to anybody that really cares about the country, the Constitution, the Republic, the free market, and just independence. It was a devastating week from this administration.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Well, you're probably seeing this, ladies and gentlemen, all over the news, and maybe you're even getting a little fear of missing out when you're looking at what's happening to silver prices, when you're looking at what's happening to gold prices, and you're thinking, man, I need to get on that. I need to get on that. So you need to go to protectwithowen.com. That's what you need to do. And our friends at allegiance.gold are going to take care of you. Don't have the fear of missing out. Don't watch the gold and silver prices skyrocket, and then you're sitting there saying, man, I missed out. This has happened before, by the way. This has happened before, and then people got in too late, and they've been waiting since the 80s. They've been waiting since the 80s for this to happen again. But it's happening right now. Don't miss it. It's probably going to continue to go higher. Protectwithowen.com. Our friends at Allegiance Gold will get you up to $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. And that $5,000 in free gold and silver is becoming less and less weight every day, ladies and gentlemen. Every single day, you're watching it happen. Don't miss out on this run. Don't have the fear of missing out. Every day that you wait to give our friends at Allegiance Gold a call, those prices go up another $1, another $2. That's what's happening. We're all watching it. Give them a call. Inquire for yourself. What they care about is educating you first. That's why they want you to give them a call. 844-790-9191. 844-790-9191. They'd be happy to answer any questions that you have as far as the investments are concerned. Or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth and your freedom because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Do you guys remember what I said yesterday? Do you guys remember the prediction that we made yesterday? That Donald Trump is going to release a currency with his face on it? I didn't expect a 24-hour turnaround on that deal. I got to be honest. Wasn't expecting that. But here we are. The Trump administration has plans to issue a $1 coin. I guess it's going to be a silver coin? That doesn't even make sense. This doesn't even make sense. It's just more nonsense coming out of the administration. They don't even think about things. They don't even measure things anymore. It's just total rapid fire. Doesn't matter what they hit, who they hit, if things fall apart. It's just rapid fire. Don't think, don't measure, just do it. So they're going to do they claim a $1 coin. There's no way that's going to fly. Trump is going to say, I'm worth more than $1. It needs to be at least probably $100, maybe $1,000. You're not going to do me like that. Not $1. That's like Hillary Clinton might be worth $1. We'll do a Bill Clinton coin for $1. Not Trump. Trump's $1,000. Get it right. I don't think Trump's going to like being on $1 coin. They've stopped production of pennies because it was a negative price line. It cost more to make the penny than the penny was worth. So they finally stopped that. So what are you going to do with $1 coin? I'm telling you, Trump just wants his face on currency. That's all it is. He just wants his face on currency. We got a 24-hour turnaround on that prediction, guys. Come on, guys. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for that. You know? A 24-hour turnaround, guys, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, well, maybe I'm just trying to avoid the drama that we have. Well, Were you with us yesterday? Were you here yesterday? I kind of reached a point of no return this week. I think a lot of us have. I don't think this is a coincidence that it's happening right before Christmas. I don't think this is a coincidence that it's happening right before New Year's. But this has been probably the most sold out the American people have ever been in a single week. I don't know how else to measure it. It's worse. I mean, folks, put it into my perspective and take it for whatever it's worth to you, but just think about it from my perspective. All the crap that I've gone through with Democrats, specifically the Biden administration, imprisoning me for speech. Okay? I mean, I could sit here and go through all of it, but let's just look at it from that lens. I got put into federal prison by the Biden administration for 2 months for things that I said, for First Amendment protected activity. And I feel like I have now been more sold out and more betrayed by this administration than the Biden administration. And that might be because we thought this administration was with us. We thought this administration was America first. And so maybe that's why the pivot is more devastating. Because it's like, yeah, okay, I expected the Biden administration to mess with me. I expected the Biden administration to do some dastardly deeds. It's like, I kind of expect that. So, okay, they put me in prison. It's like, yeah, that's right around my realm of possibility. But this is like, hey, we thought we were getting one thing, and now we're getting the complete opposite. I feel more betrayed by the Trump administration than by the Biden administration. And again, that's probably because of the major letdown that it was. If I actually sat here and took measurements, the Trump administration would probably measure better than the Biden administration, all things considered. I mean, I don't know how you can do worse than the invasion. That's got to be the worst thing that's ever happened to our country. You could argue that the Biden administration did the worst thing that's ever happened to our country with the invasion of 15 million illegal aliens and paying for them. So you could argue that the Biden administration did the most traitorous act of any administration. But man, the Trump administration is really competing. And this week to me, a line has been crossed, a threshold has been crossed. And it's just like, how much hope is left? How much room to wiggle here do we have left to say, well, maybe this, maybe that? Well, hold on, just wait, just be patient. Like, no. What are you telling me? Here's a quick recap. Here's a quick recap of why we're feeling so betrayed. This is from this week. The $1 trillion defense bill, which, again, we went into the details, not so great. Pushing 6G technology for 3D surveillance. That's part of the AI surveillance grid that Trump is bringing in. He's bringing in Skynet. He's signing it over to Larry Ellison and Oracle. He's signing it over to the intelligence agencies. It's all going to be a weapon built against you. Trump is doing that. We hijacked a Venezuelan oil tanker. So it's not about drugs, is it? It's about oil now. Gotcha. Exempted AI firms from state law. Folks, I don't know how this one is going to go. There's going to be a major legal fight. But Trump basically just said, I don't believe in states' rights, and I'm going to sign this executive order so that my friends and my family invested in AI and crypto and data centers and quantum computing can get fabulously rich and build themselves $1 trillion worth of wealth in the next decade. Total betrayal. Totally unconstitutional. Then we get another $650 million to Israel. We get another $800 million to Ukraine. Total betrayal. America last. Socialist foreign aid grift. Treason. Then you got Larry Fink joining Jared Kushner at the Ukraine negotiating table. So BlackRock is going to move into Ukraine and get billions and billions and billions of dollars in contracts and land to expand their global real estate superpower so that you'll own nothing. And these will be no bid contracts. Is this not the definition of globalism? And then we read more into this policy that I was celebrating. I was happy with this policy, and I'm still not against it, generally speaking, but we look more into this policy of we're not going to take anybody into this country until we go through 5 years of social media activity. And did you look into what the social media activity is? Do I have to tell you? Do you know what they're looking for? I'm sure they'll root some people out that are communist or hate America or stuff like that. I'm sure. There's a purpose. And if you've been a fact checker or shown any signs that you don't respect the First or Second Amendment, okay, I'm for that. But then you go into it and you realize what they're really looking for is anti-Semitism. So if you've expressed anti-Semitism on social media, you're not going to be allowed into this country. And they're now telling you this, by the way. Now they're telling you this. I've got clips of Sebastian Gorka, Mark Levin has said it, others. We'll see what we get to today. I'm overwhelmed with it. But that's what I'm saying. In this whole new issue that Americans have, and they're sick of the Israeli influence, and they're sick of all the traitors that have sold out to Israel, a foreign country. They're giving you admissions now. So it's like, we're not killing kids. Okay, we're killing kids, but we had to. It's like, we're not stopping people from coming in for expressing an opinion on Israel. Okay, yeah, we are. We're stopping them from coming in. It's just like, so they're losing the debate so badly that eventually they have to sacrifice ground. They have to sacrifice intellectual ground in this debate. It's like, where is it going to end? Where's the final line? Are they just going to admit? Actually, I'll tell you what it is. And I'm already seeing it happening. And I think this is going to tie into the sports world too. I think this is going to happen twofold. And I've actually seen this before. This is very elitist mindset. And if you've been around, and I'm not necessarily against elitism per se. I don't necessarily like elitists, but I'm not against elitism. But this is what's going to happen. And this happens in business. This happens in all the worlds out there. And quite frankly, this is what separates people. What do you prioritize? Do you prioritize your life, or do you prioritize your legacy? Do you prioritize your life, or do you prioritize your legacy? Let me explain what's about to happen in this Israel debate. I think it's about to happen in the sports world. And if you've worked for somebody that has a legacy like that, then you understand what I'm about to say. You understand where I'm coming from here. Do you prioritize your life more than your legacy? And you'll have men, and they decide they're going to prioritize their legacy, and they sacrifice their life. They sacrifice their life. They dedicate themselves to their legacy. They sacrifice time with their family, their friends, whatever else, causes, principles, maybe at times, morals, and they become about the legacy. And the problem is when you make that decision, you can never get your life back. Once you've made that decision, you can never get your life back. And there's a famous writer. He was the top writer for the WWE in the 90s when they had the top 3 shows on television. And it was the top thing, the WWE, the WWF. And he talks about a meeting he had with Vince McMahon. And this guy's got a couple kids, and he's like, Vince, we're here working 7 days a week. You got me working with all these different superstars on their lines and their graphics and everything. He's like, Vince, I don't see my kids. I don't see my kids. I don't see my family. And Vince McMahon says, well, you make enough money, so just hire help, hire a nanny, move them closer. And that's the mindset. That's the mindset right there. It's, hey, who cares? We're building a legacy. Put the legacy over life and just be rich. Now, I'm gonna land this plane. I'm gonna explain what I'm talking about right here, because this is about to happen in the Israel fight. This is about to happen in the geopolitical, social, cultural debate about Israel right now. And I'm already starting to see it happen. I'm already starting to see the ground get lost and the concessions get made. So eventually, they're just going to come out and say, okay, yes, Israel controls your country. They're just going to admit it, and they're going to say it's a good thing. They're going to say it's a good thing because these Jews are better than you, and they're richer than you, and just look at how great things are. Look, you got Netflix at home. You got a flat screen TV. You got Walmarts down the streets. You got DoorDashes that'll deliver your food and groceries and anything else you want. You got cheap goods. You got the internet. You got all this entertainment. Just shut up. Yeah, we run your country. Yeah, we owe everything. But it's great. Eventually, that's where this is going to end up. Just like, hey, Vince McMahon, I miss my family. I can't see them. Okay, well, you're rich, so who cares? Just hire somebody to do it. It's like, no, I care about my family. It's like, yeah, Israel, these people own everything. It's like, no, I care about my country. And by the way, I think there's something going on in the sports world right now. I've got these clips, but now it's like nobody really trusts. Just look at the NFL. Nobody really trusts. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Fans are trusting that the game is not scripted less and less. Fans now think that the league is scripted and games are rigged more and more and more with every week. And this season has probably been the worst case. And now there's a couple of clips of players floating around out there where it seems like they might be thinking the same thing. But this is how it goes. And actually, if you go back in time, there's a famous clip where John Gruden is in the Oakland Raiders locker room after the Tom Brady tuck rule fumble that got reversed and the Patriots go to the Super Bowl and not the Raiders. And John Gruden says, they will never let you win here. And he was right, by the way. The Oakland Raiders didn't win those Super Bowls when Gruden was there. And then they moved the team to Vegas. And he said that after the tuck rule turnover that was recalled. He said, they'll never let you win here. I'll never forget that, because that was kind of the first time where it was like, did he just say what it sounded like he said? And now I think these NFL players are starting to feel like, hey, I'm out here busting my ass, and I'm out here risking major injury, and these games are rigged? Why? Why would I go out there and risk a third knee surgery? Why would I go out there and risk a concussion, a third concussion? Why would I go out there and risk this stuff if the games are rigged? And what are they going to say? They're going to say, why do you care? You make tens of millions of dollars. Shut up. Stop complaining. And you know what? I'd say you could say, well, maybe it's a fair response, but it goes back to the same thing. When somebody like Joe Burrow is going to say, because I care about the game. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe you think I'm a hopeless romantic, but I actually love the game of football. I know it's crazy. So do you see where I'm going? It's like you're starting to see the haves and the have-nots as it's just like gone. It's just like this now. It's either the haves and the have-nots. There's going to be no denying it. And the haves are going to sit here and they're going to say, yeah, so what? Yeah, we own everything. So what? Everything is great, so shut up and just accept it. We own you. You're our slaves, but we're pretty damn good to you here. We give you the NFL still. We give you all the movies. We give you Amazon. We give you Netflix. We give you Walmart. We give you a Trump gold card, a Trump coin. So just accept your slavery. Just accept it. It's great. You guys are the most privileged slaves ever, so just shut up. It's like, no, I care about life. I care about freedom. It's like, come on, Joe Burrow. Just shut up and play the game. You make hundreds of millions of dollars. No, I love football. Come on, guys. Come on, guys in the WWE. Yeah, I know you haven't seen your family in a couple years. So what? You're rich. No, I care about my family. Yeah, well, so the Trump administration is selling you out. Did you get in the stock market yet? Are you figuring it out yet? Have you learned how to play the game yet? Come on, play the game. You're smart. You're smart. You know how to play the game. Play the game with us. Get rich. Come on, join the team. No, I care about my country. So that's where this is going to go. Eventually, they're going to try to convince you. Hey, just give up. It's over. We own you. We own everything. But you got it pretty good, all things considered. You got it pretty good. And eventually, we'll give you some new technology eventually. We're working on that. We're trying to decide how to roll it out for you. Like, we got all kinds of new energy we can give you, and we got all kinds of new ways to travel and everything. It's like, we're going to let you advance. We're going to give you the advanced technology. We're going to let humanity advance. That's the mindset. We're going to let you guys advance. We'll get there, but you need to be a little respectful towards your masters. And you need to be a little more appreciative of everything we've given to you. That's going to be the attitude. That's what they're going to try to convince you. They're going to try to convince you to just give up and just be complicit and just accept your slavery. Just accept your role. And it's pretty good. No, I care about freedom, actually. I care about freedom. Come on, Joe Burrow. Just play the game. No, I care about football. Come on, WWE writers. Just keep working. No, I care about my family. This is where it's about to go. This is where it's about to go. And I just feel like something is going to happen in the next 3 months that's going to force this conversation, because the American people are so over it. They're so disenfranchised. They're enraged. You could even argue in some cases. They're outraged. They're enraged. They're fed up. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to lock you down. They're going to try to take you to war. They're going to try to scare you. But it's all been done, and we're going to reject it, and they're going to say, okay, fine. This is your new role. Accept it. You got it pretty good. Don't be such a Luddite. Don't be such a romantic. Who cares about a country? Who cares about a game? Who cares about your family? Go watch Netflix. Go make an order off Amazon. Go get something on Uber Eats. Come on. Go to the ball game. Just shut up. I feel like eventually that's where we're going to get. So, but this week has been the ultimate betrayal. And now Trump is doubling down. Stock market just hit an all-time high. When will the fake polls show that I am doing a great job on the economy and much more? Well, the stock market is down today. Folks, this is so crazy. And maybe I'll do this. I'm thinking I'm going to do this next year. Folks, the stock market is so rigged, it's a joke. Honestly, it's a joke. And that's why every once in a while now, I'll pepper in some market analysis. Did I not say that this is the new pump and dump? So now they're in the dump phase, and then there's going to be at least one more pump, maybe two before Christmas. But that's all this is. This is the pump and dump rally before Christmas, and then everybody's wondering next year what's really going to happen. When the truth about the U.S. economy hits next year, it's not the way they're saying it. It doesn't look like it's going the way the administration is saying it, unfortunately. So no, the people that rig the stock market, they're just jerking this thing off as much as they can before the fear of the crash in 2026. That's what they're doing, and that's what's happening right now. And Trump is like, well, this is great. Folks, you're not making any money in the stock market. You're not. And even if you were smart enough to read this stuff, even if you were smart enough to get into this stuff and understand how it works, You're not making money in the stock market. The only way you're making money in the stock market is if you have a bunch of money to begin with. If you don't have 7 figures in the stock market, you're not really making much money in the stock market. It's like, yeah, you can have a couple $1,000s, maybe 10,000, maybe even a couple $100,000. You might be able to get by with it, but you're not making money. These people are making money, folks. They're making 500 grand on a day trade. They're making 20 grand in a 1% bump. They're just jerking the stock market off. And Trump is just sitting there like, isn't this great? Again, and maybe I'll show this next year, folks. This stock market is so rigged, and when you learn how it works, anybody can get involved. Anybody can get involved. Anybody can ride the waves. Anybody can put their tallywhacker out there and let the stock market pump and dump you. So what? I don't like that. Don't you want to make money? No, I want to have an economy that works for America. I want to have a middle class. That's what I want to have. Just shut up. Just shut up and get rich. At the cost of what? That's going to be their argument. Just shut up. Just accept it. So then he comes out again. This is his Jeb Bush, please clap moment, saying, when am I going to get the credit for the great economy? President Trump, this is not reading how you think it is. When am I going to get the credit? The fake polls. Who is advising this man? Is anybody getting the truth to Donald Trump? Is anybody in Trump's ear saying, hey, hold on, it's not so good? Now, this is a crazy experiment, and I think this gives you an idea of where the economy is at. You can probably go out there and get a job in the service industry, in the service sector. There's no shame in that. A lot of people have to. But when you talk about a career type position, when you talk about a salary type position with benefits, not so hot. So this guy did a little bit of an experiment here. And he applied. He's going to break this all down in his 2-minute video. He applied for 1 million jobs. And this gives you an idea of how tough it is out there. How hard do you think it is to land a job with salary and benefits? What do you think the percentages are? Here you go.
So this year, I applied to 1,084,209 jobs. That's insane this year. It has been a wild ride in 2025. Now within that.
Now, by the way, let me just say this. Well, let's finish the video.
784,555 ghosted me. And
I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up and play the video. There's a point I want to make, but let me just play the video first. We'll restart it.
So this year, I applied to 1,084,209 jobs. That's insane this year. It has been a wild ride in 2025. Now within that, 784,555 ghosted me, and I was rejected by a little under 300,000. That is insane because look at these numbers. They do not want to hire you because they didn't want to hire me. But I don't know. Maybe you have a better resume. I don't know. Out of the 1 million jobs that I applied for, 2,222 did get back to me. And I just have to give a huge shout out to Sprout for auto applying. Because of that, I was able to focus on more technical skills like networking and what the job is going to consist of itself. Now, out of the 2,222 first round interviews, the second round interview was cut down to 467, which that's a huge cut, which is insane to think about, going from 2,000 to 400, just like that. Now down to the final round interviews, which some went just to 4 rounds, had 4 round interviews. The 4th one was the final interview, but some went as high as 6 rounds into the interview process. So the 6th interview was the final interview. But we're going to cut it short. Out of the 400 plus interviews I got in the second round to the final round, I received 6 interviews, which is crazy, bro. And of those 6, I received 3 offers. 3 job offers out of applying to 1 million jobs. And finally, I accepted one. 1 job out of 1 million. We're cooked. We are cooked, guys. I am lucky that I was able to receive a job that had good compensation, good bonuses, and good healthcare. Like the main 3 things that I was looking for out of a job, I got. but I had to apply to 1 million jobs to get it. Literally 1 million jobs. I don't mean that like figuratively. 1 million jobs. So give Sprout a try, guys. And
so there you go. The point I was going to make was obviously he's using AI to do this, because when you first hear it, you're like, well, this is impossible. Well, he's using AI. So now you can talk about the numbers or whatever. I think that the general direction analysis is fair and spot on. That's the true state of the economy. Now, I will say I've been working professionally in live media for the last 15 years. The last job I had that wasn't a job in live media was like when I was 20, maybe 21. So, you know, I've been working in this field for a long time. I'm not so sure what the job market is like. So that's kind of something I don't know. But I've heard from people. And obviously, I've been covering this extensively on the show, and we've been playing other videos like that. Now, why is it so hard to get a job? Well, there's multiple reasons. The economy's not good. Businesses don't have extra money to hire help. There's how many illegal aliens here working. It's like they come out. I don't even have this in my stack. It's like they come out today. Sean Duffy says, well, we've learned that over half of the CDLs in New York and California are given illegally to non-citizens. I'm like, so why haven't you arrested people? This has to be the craziest part of this administration, is they talk all of this big game and then they do nothing. That's the Trump administration. They talk a big game that you want to hear, and then they do nothing. And then behind closed doors, they cut all the deals to steal all of our money and to destroy our country and give it to themselves. That's what's going on. That's this administration so far. And if you're not willing to admit that, you know what? I understand that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you voted for Trump. It's a tough pill to swallow. And I'm not trying to force it here, but I mean, it's kind of like, it's getting pretty obvious, folks. It's getting a little undeniable here. It's getting a little overwhelming. And they know it's crushing their chances in the midterms, by the way. This is leaked audio from the new RNC chair, and he's saying we're about to get crushed.
But let me put in perspective, only 3 times in the last 100 years has the incumbent party been successful winning a midterm. Wow. 4 times in the last 150. We're facing almost certain defeat. But let me put
We're facing almost certain defeat. And they're doing nothing to help their cause, by the way. And that's the problem. If this administration was slashing and cutting taxes so fast that you couldn't even keep up, if this administration was not sending hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries and foreign wars and prioritizing foreign countries and foreign wars, if this administration had as many deep state arrests as they had foreign strikes, or any deep state arrests at all, for that matter, oh, you'd win the midterms. Oh, you'd be crushing the midterms. If you started arresting the Epstein pedophiles and you actually went after and exposed the Epstein blackmail network, oh, you'd win the midterms. Oh, you'd have people chanting Trump 2028. But you're not doing any of that. You're actually doing the opposite of all of that. That's what's going on. And they got their cheerleaders. They got their cheerleaders. So they were able to get away with it. They got their cheerleaders waving the pom-poms. They got their access whores taking the pictures, fluffing the administration. So they get away with it. They run cover for them. And they wouldn't dare say anything critical. They wouldn't dare say anything negative. It might hurt their access. It might hurt their status. Or maybe they think that their followers are a bunch of lemmings, so they have to keep the lemmings in line. Well, the drama with the Epstein stuff isn't going away. Now, I'm not going to sit here and obsess over this new tranche of photos because I've already said we all know Trump was friends with Epstein. I don't think Trump was doing anything illegal, but you know what? Now we'll find out. But there's no denying Trump was friends with Epstein. And there's no, Trump was a Playboy billionaire. We know who he was hanging out with and what he was up to. There's no secret there. What's weird is how he's trying to deny it. What I'm interested in is what is this fight for the Epstein file going to look like over Christmas? Because the deadline is quickly approaching. So I want to go to Thomas Massey here outside of the Capitol talking about what's coming next with the Epstein files.
If DOJ doesn't release the files it has by next Friday, is there anything Congress can do to compel that to happen?
Well, I mean, it's a crime if they don't. It's not like they're in contempt of Congress because they didn't respond to a subpoena. This is a new law with, criminal implications if they don't follow it. But I was encouraged, again, by the fact that they went back to these 3 judges and got the judges to release the grand jury material to the DOJ.
Is that grand jury material enough, do you think,
No.
to comply with the law?
No, the grand jury material is just a small fraction of what the DOJ needs to release, because the FBI and DOJ probably has evidence that they chose not to take to the grand jury, because the evidence they're in possession of would implicate other people, not Epstein or Maxwell. So the grand jury material is probably going to just be mostly facts and evidence that was used to convict those 2. And what we want to see are the facts and evidence that the FBI and the DOJ have never given to a grand jury.
So the deadline approaching, and folks, they're gonna find a way to extend it. They're either gonna claim the same claim they've been making, national security, which it's like, okay, how is this national security? What does national security have to do with this? It's kind of the big admission there, isn't it? The big admission that Congress is blackmailed, Epstein was an intelligence asset. What's the national security issue? Now, by the way, I'm going to breeze by this for now, but Thomas Massey also claims he has 3 FBI whistleblowers. 3 FBI whistleblowers have told Thomas Massey that they have the wrong guy with the pipe bombing. So take what you want from that. That's a developing story. But a side note as we're talking about Massey. So over Christmas break, you're either going to get heavily redacted Epstein files, or they're just going to say, no, we can't do it for national security. That's going to be the drama over Christmas break. Now, look, the pictures are weird. Some of them more than weird. Some of them just outright concerning. Like one picture on Epstein's desk that looks to be like a drugged woman or like a passed out woman or something, or a minor. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Other weird stuff like that. There's this picture, Trump condoms. I mean, what the hell is that? In some weird deal. So it's a bunch of weirdness. Now, here's why I look at the whole Epstein angle from the Democrat side. Sure, they want to hurt Trump, but they can't be so naive. They can't be so naive to think that this is only going to hurt Trump. They have to know that this is going to implicate a lot of people, including people within their own party. They have to be aware of that. So the question is, are they deciding, like, are they weighing the cost benefit analysis, or are they just saying we don't care anymore? Because I don't think they're making this big move on Epstein now. I don't think they're making this big move to try to stick Epstein to Trump unless they've done their own measurements and they think that somehow they're going to come out of this positively. Now, the reason why I'm speculating that, why would they be teasing? Why would they be using this teasing technique to say, hey, here's what we've given you today. We have even the worst that is yet to come. Why would they be playing that game? Why wouldn't they just release it all? They're playing some sort of game of chicken here. They're whatever it is that they have, they're trying to use it as leverage. And if their ultimate goal here is to take down Trump, because that's what it is, it's not about the victims. They don't care. They could have done it during the Biden years. They could have done it any time. They do it now. It's all for them. It's all about getting Trump. But if that's what they're doing here, then they have to have somebody communicating with Trump. If they're trying to use this stuff as leverage to get Trump, or if they're trying to use this stuff as leverage for different policy issues, then somebody's communicating with Trump and saying, hey, if you don't do this or you don't do that, then we're going to release this. So it looks like whatever it is that they're trying to play, whatever the angle here is, the Democrats either get Trump or try to use leverage against Trump with the Epstein files or photos, whatever it is they're holding back for policy or whatever. They've obviously done the measurements and said, okay, if we move forward with this, it's going to hurt Trump, or we're going to come out on the positive side. We're going to come out positively when all the Epstein dust settles here. And if the Democrats didn't believe that, I don't think that they would be doing this. And I don't think they would be doing the deep tease. If they just released it all and they said, we think this is good politics or good policy, and they just said, release it all, then I'd say, okay, they're just going to release everything and see what sticks. No, they're selectively releasing and threatening to release more. So they're playing a game here. They're playing tug of war. They're in a leverage fight. And they obviously think that they're going to come out on top. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. So now it's a matter of what are they waiting for? And then what's going to happen when the deadline hits and they're supposed to release all these Epstein files and they don't do it? Because they're not going to do it. I would say that's about as sure as bet as you can make, that they're not going to release the full Epstein files. They're going to either heavily redact them, or they're going to argue to a judge or whoever, and they're going to say, it's national security, we can't release them. And then, of course, if you want to demand an answer, well, how is it national security? You will be ignored. Nobody will ever explain how releasing the Epstein list is a national security liability. Nobody will ever explain it. They just say it, and then they bury it. So why? Why is that? I'd love to hear how releasing the Epstein files is a national security threat. I'd love for somebody that says that to explain it. But somehow I feel like we're going to get let down there as well.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Well, folks, it's true. When you try the instant coffee, the premium instant coffee from blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, you might question whether or not you ever want to drink any form of coffee again. And, you know, it's too bad. It's too bad that Blackout Coffee had to do this to themselves, actually. It's too bad that Blackout Coffee had to create the best instant coffee that you've ever tasted, that now you're kind of wondering, do I even bother making a full pot of coffee? Now, maybe if you needed more than a cup, or you've got friends or family, whatever, all right, then but if you're just sitting down and you're needing a cup of coffee, you're going to go right to the premium instant coffee. Anybody that's tried it is saying the exact same thing. Best instant coffee they've ever tried. It's not even close. Nothing else is even on the map. Blackout Coffee did it. They're the top. They're the elite. blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Try it for yourself. But you know what? Every once in a while, you might just want a different flavor. Every once in a while, you might just want to try something a little different to change the taste buds up. So they got the single-serve pods over there as well. All kinds of different flavors. Cherry Jelly Donut is back in stock. That one sold out. Salted Caramel Mocha, back in stock as well. Cinnamon French Toast. Blueberry Crumble. These are just some of the flavors. They got some holiday-themed flavors as well. Peppermint Mocha. Ooh, the holiday flavors are selling out. The holiday flavors are selling out, folks. Winter Wonderland, sold out. Eggnog flavored, sold out. Peppermint Mocha candy cane still in stock. But the Christmas-themed, you might even say apple cinnamon French toast. Well, sounds good. Well, that's sold out too. So all kinds of flavors of the single-serve pods. Blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, the official coffee of the Owen Report.
extra-dimensional, and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
I'm checking the markets right now. Actually, I wanted to check one thing out specifically. I think there's going to be at least one more rally before Christmas or New Year. Where are our friends over at Newsmax today? Newsmax is doing some great things. I'm gonna make an announcement about Newsmax today. Not like a personal announcement, but a prediction, perhaps. Come on, Newsmax, where are you at? You need to be bumping. I need Newsmax to bump. I'm rooting for Newsmax. All right. All right, hour number 2 here of the Owen Report today. I need to really, I really need to just hit the gas here and not look back. And it's kind of, I wanted to just take calls and just be like, because to me, this is the worst week of the administration. To me, this has been the worst week of the Trump administration. So it's like, okay, now I'd like to hear if people agree. I'd like to know if you think the same. But there's so much news. So let me stop. Let me stop talking and get into it. So Tim Burchett, who we like, by the way, he said this on X because they found out a bunch of money was going to the Taliban. It's just normal business in Congress, sending money to the Taliban. Says, if the Muslim world really cares about the Taliban, let them fund them. Well, Tim, with all due respect, you just answered your own riddle. You just answered your own riddle without even realizing it. The Muslim world doesn't care about the Taliban. The Western world cares about the Taliban because it's an asset of the Western world's intelligence agencies. It's a proxy army, or they have one-offs of the Taliban that they run as proxy armies to do regime change in Libya, regime change in Syria, wherever they want. So, Tim, you just solved your own riddle. Yeah, if the Muslim world really cares about the Taliban, then let them fund them. So, therefore, whoever was funding the Taliban must really care about them. Who was funding the Taliban? The United States of America. So why does the United States of America need to fund the Taliban? Because it's under their control, folks. It's a proxy group. It's an intelligence asset in the Middle East. For who, I wonder, by the way? Because that's where our interests are, obviously. Clearly. This is more betrayal. This is total betrayal from Trump. U.S. removes Brazilian Supreme Court justice and his wife from sanction list. This is the Brazilian Supreme Court justice who's anti-free speech. This is the Brazilian Supreme Court justice who's gone after Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro was Trump's greatest ally in the geopolitical world. Bolsonaro was Trump's top supporter in the international diplomatic world, and Trump just stabbed him in the back. Trump just said, F you, Bolsonaro. I don't care about you. I hope you rot in prison. This is a disgusting betrayal from Donald Trump. And, you know, I got to say, I'm starting to think this is the real Donald Trump. I don't know Donald Trump personally, but what am I supposed to do? All I can do is make conclusions off of what I see. Trump has completely stabbed everyone in the back to prop himself up and to prop his agenda up. That's what this looks like to me. How can you throw Bolsonaro under the bus, who was your top supporter? How can you throw Bolsonaro under the bus like this? And we all know how. This obviously has everything to do with Venezuela. This obviously has everything to do with whatever it is they're trying to do in Venezuela and South America. So Trump is selling his friends out to win some leverage for whatever is going on in Venezuela. So Trump just sold Bolsonaro out to get leverage in Venezuela. And Trump will sell you out, folks. He already has. What other conclusion am I to reach? I wish I was wrong. I wish I wasn't reaching these conclusions. You think this is fun? This sucks. But that's what this is. This is total betrayal from Donald Trump. This is disgusting betrayal from Donald Trump. And I'm sorry to the Bolsonaro family. And I know Bolsonaro's son is, at least last I heard, was basically living in America, asylum in America. Obviously, Bolsonaro, they're going to try to probably kill him in prison. They stole the election from him. They tried to kill him in the streets. Now they're probably going to try to kill him in prison. And Trump says, whatever, I need to think about Venezuela. I don't care. Well, Bolsonaro supported you, sir. I don't care. Bolsonaro was your number one ally in South America. I don't care. Oh, well, Bolsonaro stood up when they stole the election from you. Well, I don't care. Who does this? So I apologize to our friends in Brazil. I apologize. We should be fighting for Bolsonaro. We should be going into Brazil and freeing the country of Brazil. They just put a known criminal. They just released a criminal from jail, a commie, and put him in charge of the country. We have way more interest in Brazil, folks. You want to talk about resources? You want to talk about engineering? You want to talk about the smartest minds? You want to talk about culture? The United States and Brazil, it makes way more sense for us to be prioritizing Brazil and cultivating that relationship instead of doing God knows what in Venezuela. Just utter and total betrayal. Why are you doing this to us, Trump? Why? Why have you done this? You're showing what I can only assume now are your true colors. Or maybe you're blackmailed. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So now Putin's getting involved. Again, Russia should be a natural ally. Putin doubles down on backing Maduro amid mounting U.S. pressure on Venezuela. I think Putin is mostly just playing the game here. I'm not sure how invested he really is in supporting Maduro or Venezuela. I think he's kind of just playing the geopolitical chess game. He's playing Trump's game, is what I see more than anything, but I don't like it. The two countries that the United States should be working to build a partnership with right now that would be the most strategically advantageous for our country are Brazil and Russia. And Trump is giving both of them the middle finger. Now, you could argue that Trump is posturing America to start good relations with Russia, and that would be fair. We are seeing that. That is being reported. But yet here we are still funding Ukraine. So Putin plays back and he says, okay, fine. You want to fund Ukraine? I'll go ahead and help Venezuela then. How about that? Maybe we'll get China involved too. How about that then? Why are you doing this, President Trump? Why? It's all propaganda. It's the same propaganda, folks. It's crazy. Now Trump has given the left the ability to win in the public perspective because now the left can do shows like this, and they're right. This is neoconservatism. This is swamp politics. This is political corruption. And now left-wing TV shows that are normally batshit crazy and left-wing TV shows that are normally just pulling crap out of their ass, now they actually get to do stuff like this that hits.
I'm not even going to play around anymore. Hit me with the works. Iraq, Venezuela, go!
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we can do things the easy way, that's fine. And if we have to do it the hard way, that's fine too.
Chemical weapons is a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
We can get rid of Saddam. It could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
Democracy and freedom can serve as a
beacon of hope.
Shock and awe.
You still falling for this crap, guys? We don't fall for it here, and we don't let this audience fall for it. And if you remember, you know, the Colbert Report was winning like all the nighttime awards during the Bush years, and then it kind of carried over into the Obama years, and then he cut the deal, and he took the late night show and kind of just became a propaganda piece. But before that, Stephen Colbert in the Bush years and part of the early Obama years, he had a funny show because they were fair and they called out all the corruption, whether it was on the left or the right, and they won a bunch of awards for it. Now, then Obama got in and they all became friends, so they backed off of that. And then Trump got in and they all had Trump derangement syndrome, so they just went back crap crazy. But now, folks, Trump is basically, I mean, folks, it's just, you're basically in the same, you're in the same Bush era is what you're in right now. You're in the same Bush. It's actually, you could say maybe it's worse. It's virtually the same. The Patriot Act, the NSA, the TSA. What is this administration doing? The AI surveillance, the anti-Semitism, speech laws, giving all of this stuff over to foreign countries to run surveillance on us, advancing techs for the sole purpose of advancing the surveillance state, advancing the AI government. It's literally the Bush. It's Bush 25 years later. It's all the same crap. So now the left gets to have their cake. They've just opened it wide up now. Now the left gets to have their cake. And how did that go last time? You got Barack Obama for 8 years. And he became so famous and wealthy now, he's trying to basically run Netflix. And they're just going to do it again. They're going to do it again. Here's more evidence. Do you remember the babies in incubators?
They pulled out his fingernails and applied electric shock to sensitive private parts of his body.
After we arrived in Kuwait.
I'm going to stop there for the sake of time, but all of that to say it was totally made up, folks. It never happened. The babies and incubators, all the stuff that they made up to get us into the Gulf War and to overthrow Saddam Hussein, it was all made up. All fake, all propaganda. And now they're doing the exact same thing.
My generation was born in a vibrant democracy, and we took it for granted. We assumed freedom.
This is the daughter of the woman that they want to replace Maduro with after accepting the Nobel Peace Prize. This is her daughter.
Was as permanent as the air we breathed. We cherished our rights, but we forgot our duties. I was raised by a father whose life's work, building, creating, serving, taught me that loving a country meant assuming responsibility for its future. By the time we recognized how fragile our institutions had become, a man who had once led a military coup to overthrow democracy was elected president. Many thought charisma could substitute the rule of law. From 1991 onward, the regime dismantled our democracy, violating the Constitution, falsifying our history, corrupting the military, purging independent judges, censoring the press, manipulating elections, persecuting dissent, and ravaging our extraordinary biodiversity.
Now, my guess is they will fail in this regime change effort, but they're not going to give it up. But that's what this is. They tried regime change in Iran. Hasn't been successful so far. They're trying regime change in Venezuela. Hasn't been successful so far. More regime change wars than deep state arrests at this point in the administration. As I sit here on December 12th of 2025, almost a year into the Trump administration, we have done more for regime change wars in foreign countries' interests than we have in making deep state arrests against the criminals that commit acts of treason against our country. There's no reasoning with that. There's no denying that. There's only acceptance and then trying to figure out why. And then when you have this overwhelming amount of propaganda coming from one place and one direction only, boy, you start to wonder, is this why? Now, here's Sebastian Gorka, who's an anti-free speech foreigner, by the way. Sebastian Gorka, an anti-free speech foreigner, celebrates censorship of the right. He wants to remind you what your real duties are as an American and a Christian.
From the remarkable Neo Kissinger, who has both national security advisor and Secretary of State and National Archivist and a few other jobs as his title, Secretary Rubio. The poison of anti-Semitism, which has plagued mankind for centuries, has visited us now and again in this century. And it still courses through the veins of cowards in.
Listen to this dramatic, over-the-top delivery, this Hollywood phony, this guy who's too ugly and maybe too gay for Hollywood. This over-the-top presentation. But notice, through the blood. Do you hear what they're saying? They're telling you that you are inherently anti-Semitic and you need to die. Your blood, Mark Levin has said it, Josh Hammer has said it, others have said it, and it's because you're white, and it's because Germans were white, it's because Hitler was white, that you as a white person, you as a European, you have anti-Semitism in your blood, it's in your DNA, so you have to die. You have to be a slave or die. That's what they're telling you. That's what he's saying. There's a reason why they say it's in your blood.
The veins of cowards in dark corners of the world. Anti-Semitism today hides behind geopolitics. Oh, I'm not an anti-Semite. I just don't like the government of Bibi Netanyahu.
There it is. There it is. You are not allowed to criticize Netanyahu. You are not allowed to have a debate about foreign policy, and you're not allowed to have a discussion about politics in Israel or its influence over Washington, D.C. You're not allowed to do it. And if you dare do it, we're going to call you an anti-Semite. We're going to say it runs through your DNA. And then who knows? Maybe we got a gift for you, like a pager or a beeper or something, you know? Maybe it's a vaccine. You know, we'll have a gift for you if you decide you're going to go down that route. Because it's in your blood, after all. You're born that way. And so you have to deal with that.
No, you're a Jew hater. Because there's only one Jewish state in the world.
Think about what an absolute liar this piece of shit is. Think about what an absolute liar this fat faggot is. Pardon my French, but fuck this guy. You over-the-top phony foreigner. Go back to your country, you anti-free speech faggot. I'm sick of you. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's take a deep breath. We've already had our freebie. We're not getting two. We're not doing two. You don't get two. Let's take him off the screen. Let's just do that. I can't do it. We already had our freebie this week. We're not going to do it twice. Apologize for the language. Here's Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL, and he gets to lobby Congress. The ADL, which has been one of the most anti-American organizations, one of the most anti-free speech organizations, one of the most divisive organizations in the history of this country, and he gets to go to Congress and lobby Congress for his wishes and his desires, and here's what he wants.
So I'm here in the House of Representatives, just met with Leader Jeffries. We spent the day meeting with Republicans and Democrats, talking about the fight against anti-Semitism, talking about the need to focus on extremism on both sides, the need to increase funding for nonprofit security grants to keep our houses of worship safe, to do work to keep the social media companies sharing their data and maintaining a degree of transparency. Look, this is what it's all about, being on the ground, being face-to-face, advocating to fight anti-Semitism and all forms of hate, because that's what we do here at ADL.
Yeah, except when it's the left that hates the right. I mean, folks, they're telling you what they're doing. They're telling you what they're doing. There is obviously this bitter clinger culture here in politics, in geopolitics. And I think most of it is just leverage. Most of it is just leverage and control. How much do these people really care about World War II? I don't know. How much do they really care about it? What, you know, some of them have legitimate connections and family connections, and okay, you respect that. But we're talking about something that pretty soon is going to be a century ago. It won't be long before the World War II will be a century ago. And so what? Do we have to keep hearing about it forever? Do white people have to sit here and have this guilt hung over their head for the Holocaust, even though 80 million white Christians died defeating the Nazis? They never tell you about that. They never tell you about the 80 million white Christians that died to defeat the Nazis. And then they don't tell you about the genocides that happened in Russia or other countries around the planet. They don't tell you about those. And you can question those or deny those, but one, you can't. But isn't it obvious what they're really doing? And again, some people may have a real issue or connection with it, but that's not even what this is. Folks, they're building the AI surveillance grid, and they're just using anti-Semitism as the excuse to say this is why we have to spy on people and police speech, and then ultimately turn speech into a criminal act. And this is why it's so frustrating. And I got more videos of this. We'll see if we get to it today. But it's like, this is why Sebastian Gorka is such a dishonest piece of trash. Israeli Jews don't even support Netanyahu. You liar. Israeli Jews protest against Netanyahu in the streets and in the Knesset every single day. Gorka, you fraud. You liar. You scumbag. Don't sit here and tell me it's Jew hatred to have a conversation about politics. And don't sit here and treat me like I'm some sort of an imbecile that actually follows the issue and knows that Jews themselves have differentiating opinions. And that's the big lie. But see, sick freaks like Sebastian Gorka and sick freaks like Randy Fine, they love to use a Jewish individual as their political body shield, so that they can do whatever the hell they want and censor free speech and start wars and enrich the military-industrial complex and do regime change all over the world. And then they stick a Jewish person in front of you and you say, hey, I don't like what you're doing there. And they say, oh my God, you hate this Jew. It's like, what are you talking about? That's what these sick freaks do. If anybody's anti-Semitic, if anybody hates Jews, it's people like Randy Fine and Sebastian Gorka and the rest of them that will take an innocent Jewish individual who has nothing to do with any of this, and they'll stick them in front of you and say, if you dare say anything about me, you're attacking this Jew and you're an anti-Semite. And it's in your blood. And now you must die. No. You're the anti-Semite. You are the anti-Semite that uses Jews as your political body shield so that you can get away with crimes and lies and unconstitutional acts and betrayal. And we don't fall for it anymore. We're not going to be guilt-tripped anymore. We're not going to be henpecked. We're not going to be browbeat. It's not working. But that's what they do. As if Jews need somebody else to step up and defend them. I'm not playing that role. There's plenty of those people out there. You don't need me. Maybe you don't even want me. But I'm not going to sit here and be fooled. I know what you're doing. We know exactly what you're doing. And we're not ignorant. So you can't lie to us anymore. You can't deceive us anymore. You can't guilt trip us anymore. You can't shame us anymore. You're the ones that are to be shamed. You're the ones that are going to be guilt tripped. You're the ones that are going to be embarrassed when all of this goes down. Not us. Not us. And eventually all the people here that are actually suffering from anti-Semitism, all the people here that are actually suffering from real Jew hate, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, you did this to us. They're not going to look at me or anybody else. They're going to look at you and they're going to say, why did you put us in the line of fire? Why did you start firing on all cylinders and then use us as a political body shield so that we take the heat for what you are doing? It's you. You guys did this. By the way, Randy Fine again. What did I tell you? I said, get ready. Mainstream Islam, mainstream Muslims is going to be their new talking point. That's Randy Fine today. For the sake of time, I'm not going to play the clip. How to deal with mainstream Muslims. You cannot seek peace. You must destroy them. So Randy Fine wants to kill all Muslims. Is that what he's saying here? He wants to destroy all Muslims. So he's an anti-Muslim. He's an Islamophobe. He's a hater. He's a bigot. Oh, no. You're allowed to hate Muslims. That's accepted. You're allowed to hate Muslims. You're allowed to promote killing Muslims, and that's perfectly normal. That's good stuff. Who still buys this crap? These are the most evil people on the planet, folks. These are the most evil, sick people on the planet. And I can't even, it's not even human to me. These are demons. This is not even human. What human behaves like this? Here's a little more attempted guilt trip. I'm going to skip that. Let's go right to Mike Huckabee. Listen to this. This is just hilarious. So again, what do I keep telling you? They're giving up ground. So first was, Israel didn't strike Qatar. Well, okay, yeah, Israel did strike Qatar. So listen to what they're telling you now.
Was Israel's attack on Qatar without cause or merit? Well, let's be real clear. There's been some talk that Israel attacked the country of Qatar. It did not. It did, in fact, send a missile to attack a terrorist who'd been partly responsible for the murder of Israeli citizens.
It didn't attack Qatar. It just bombed Qatar. Oh, man. All right. There's too much of it, folks. I got more of it too. There's too much of it. But I'm gonna go through the day's news. Now, I want to show you this. I want to show you this video that's going viral for a couple reasons. And you'll watch this and you'll get one message, and that's fine, and you can decide what you think about that. But well, you'll understand. You'll understand on the other side of this. But yes, there's a reason why I'm playing this video. And there's a reason why I think it's important. Whatever you think about what happens in this video, I'm going to explain why I think this video is relevant to you. So this is going viral on X right now. This gentleman and his wife, who I guess she's dark skin complected. I guess she's black. So somebody calls her the N-word. Here was his response.
N-word lover. Baby, you want to make a phone call real quick?
Bet.
You see, Justin, you think you a gangster on the internet, but forgetting there's consequences for those actions. Or what about you flashing your firearm on social media and pointing at people's heads? Baby, you were in the military. Is that okay to do?
Absolutely not.
Good enough. Oh, and would you look at that? You have felony charges for doing that said thing. And we see how you're a Marine, and she's reaching out to your chain of command as we speak. And would you look at that? Getting sworn in next to a black man. See, you really don't know who you can trust, even if you're wearing the same uniform. I mean, how is that black man going to be able to trust you when you saying racial slurs like that to me and my people? You see?
Now, this is where it's about to get interesting, folks.
Hey, Justin, it's not that hard to find somebody, even if you just leave a simple comment on people's social media. See, all I need is your name and your, location, but I don't even need that. It just makes it really easy. And when I have all this information, it tells me everything I need to know about you. All your phone numbers, even the previous ones, all of your email addresses, and all of your addresses, even the current one you're at. And look at that. It has the base that you're currently living at, which you've also posted on your social media account. Oh, what's that? I think I hear the phone ring.
Second AAV, you guys are speaking.
Yes, hi.
So it goes on. You get the point. They find this guy's private information, address, phone number, all of it. And he just showed you how you can do all of it on the internet, folks. Now, if you have a social media profile and somebody decides they want to do it, they can do it. And they can find your address, your phone numbers, your family members, all of it. I've had this happen to me, unfortunately. I've had this happen to me. And yes, this is a totally shameless plug because I'm telling you, you can stop that from happening, folks. This is a very real thing. That guy just showed you how anybody can do it. He takes one comment directed at his wife on social media, and he goes and finds all of his private information on the internet outside of his own social media. Now, he double confirms it with his social media, but he was able to find where he lives. He was able to find his phone numbers, past addresses, past phone numbers, family members' addresses, family members' phone numbers off of one social media post that he didn't like. And he was able to find all that information, folks. That's what happens on the internet. I've had it happen to me. I am telling you, especially if you're really politically active, really politically outspoken, people can do this, and they can send pizzas to your house. They can send false police reports to your house. They can steal your identity. So yes, I am telling you, this is very real. I've learned from experience. I don't want you to have to go through with it. I don't want you to have to deal with this. I want you to be prepared. I want you to go to patriot-protect.com/Owen. I want you to sign up for their service, and I want you to make sure this never happens to you. That's what I want. Because I'm telling you, the mess, the nightmare that comes along with it, if you got family at home, you got kids, pets, whatever, and somebody wants to mess with your life, don't give them the ammo. Don't give them the opportunity. Don't give them the information. Get it off the internet, folks. Get it off. Go to patriot-protect.com/Owen. They monitor the internet 24/7 for all your private information. They know where it gets posted. They know how to track it, trace it, and get rid of it immediately so that people that you don't want to have it can't get access to it. 24/7 protection around the clock. Keep your private information private. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Don't let creeps on the internet have access to this. Trust me. I've had to go through it. It's not fun. You would rather deal with it ahead of time. So, patriot-protect.com/Owen. Really, folks, pretty soon, unfortunately, this is going to be a necessity. People are going to look at this and they're going to say, this is a utility that I have to have, just like an antivirus protection, a security system at home, a lock on my door. That's where this is going to go, unfortunately, because of all this information sharing on the internet. Get ahead of it. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. All right. We've got some other clips I want to get to here. Now, I was kind of debating this yesterday. We mentioned Erica Kirk's media tour, which is, I believe it's concluded now. She did, I think, 5 shows at Fox News. She did a couple extra podcasts. And then she recorded the town hall with Barry Weiss that I think is going to air this weekend. There've been some clips on the internet. And, you know, I'm not going into that arena. I'm not going into that game of Erica Kirk. But it has kind of reached a new level. And I think, unfortunately for her, now you've kind of just opened yourself up for criticism. It'd be one thing if it was, you know, your morning in private, or maybe you did an appearance here or there. but this need to do like 10 different appearances now with kind of the same routine, I think now you've kind of opened yourself up for fair criticism. There's obviously plenty of unfair criticism, but now I think you can say there's fair criticism. And I think there's one thing that is just true, and maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe there's a justification. Maybe there's a good reason, but I think there's one thing that's true, which is, have we ever seen a woman mourn like this? You know, they say everybody mourns in different ways. Okay, fine. I'm not here to judge Erica. I don't know her. I don't even want to get into this, but folks, it's all over the news. And everything since the assassination has just been weird. And it just keeps getting weirder. And I'm going to explain in a second here when I play this clip why I'm even talking about it today. But now that she's done this and she's about to go on with Barry Weiss, and a lot of it seems scripted. I don't know. She's like rapping like Eminem up there. Puts down a phone. Shabbat Shalom. Just got home. Homegrown. It's like, what is this, an Eminem rap? It's like, all right, you're freestyling on Fox News. Well, folks, there's a new genre of content on the internet now. And I didn't cover this when the left was doing it because that's just the left. Right? Okay, they hate us. They're going to do left stuff, right? They're going to celebrate Charlie Kirk getting shot, and they're going to mock his widow afterwards. Like that, okay, we expect that from the left. Folks, it's the right now. And I'm not talking about people doing conspiracy. I'm not talking about people, doing criticism or background checks, whatever you want to say. I'm not talking about that. People on the right are just outright mocking her now. So I'm not talking about they're looking into her history with Israel or Trump or her friends, Netanyahu, all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about right-wingers are now just outright mocking Erica now. And I'm sitting here saying, well, is it fair? Is it fair game now after a week-long tour and the same routine over and over? Is it fair now? I'm asking if it's fair now. Because things are just getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And it's becoming such an overwhelming thing. It's like, I guess I would put it like this. I feel dirty talking about it. I feel dirty showing you this stuff. I said after her first speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, I said, I'm out. I said, I'm out. This is too toxic now. When there's news breaking on this, I'll bring you the news, but I'm out. It's way too toxic. There's no winning. I said, I'm out. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to play. I still feel dirty. This is me hopping into the cesspool. This is me hopping into the toxic sludge. But I wonder, is this fair now? Because people on the right are now deciding it's fair game. People on the right after this media tour, and it's only going to be worse after this Barry Weiss interview. Now Erica Kirk is going to be considered fair game. I don't want to talk about it. I want nothing to do with it. It's so toxic. I'm just like, and I've looked into it and I know the weirdness. I just don't want anything to do with it right now. But now it seems like it's going to be fair game. And after this weekend, it's going to be more. So this is not left-wing content, folks. This is now right-wing content. There are dozens of these videos going around. I'll just play you one just so you can see the theme. But this is now a new genre on the internet, not from the left. This is from the right now.
People don't understand how hard it is to be a professional widow. You don't understand how strenuous the tour schedule is. And I need everyone to know how sad I am. I'm so sad all the time. I miss the little things. So many things about Charlie were little that I miss. But the thing I miss the most of all is when you come home on a Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Daddy's home, and he put his phone and his keys in the junk drawer, and it would just be all us. It'd just be all us. I just want to encourage people. Don't argue with your spouses. Don't let men get away with anything except the absolute bare minimum of them. I always told him, you know, I will always.
All right, I can't take it anymore. So this is everywhere now. It's not just coming from the left. It's coming from the right. And I explained before that some of the things I've learned in media that have, helped me to have discernment about what I cover or how I cover it. I don't know Erica Kirk. I've never met her. I don't know anything about her personality. I have nothing against her. I can see why, with all the weirdness at Turning Point USA, with all the weirdness with some of the background, with all the weirdness of everything that's happened since the Charlie Kirk assassination, she's in the middle of this web. She can't avoid it. She can't avoid it. So basically the only option she has is to either just disappear, or I guess she figures to just go out in front of the public every day until she's exhausted. And I see the attacks too about, where are the kids? I don't know. But I think there's just two things here. Again, I don't know Erica Kirk. People speak very positively of her. I see the people doing research and questioning her background. I don't want to get into any of that. It's already too toxic enough. I don't even like covering this, but I figure you should at least see that this is now the right wing going after her too. But there's just facts, folks. There's facts. And I've never seen it before. Has there ever been, and maybe I'm wrong and I've just never seen it. I can open up the chat here. I've never seen a widow mourn like this. Nobody's ever seen it before. So that doesn't mean it's inherently there's something going on. That doesn't mean that there's inherently something bad or afoot, but yet it still remains the fact. Has anybody ever seen this before? And we're 3 months beyond, and the weirdness seems to just be getting weirder. So again, I don't know her. Okay, I've never met her. This is not I'm not going to get into the conspiracy behind it, the conspiracy theories. I'm just saying, as somebody that's trying to avoid it, as somebody that's kind of just being an observer and just absorbing it all, it's gotten beyond weird. We're 3 months beyond. Some of the right wing is taking down the barriers now. And I've just never seen it. I've never seen a woman mourn like this. It's odd when she says she forgives the killer, but then, Candace is the bad person. It's a little strange to me. Turning Point USA has raised more money than they ever have in the aftermath of this, which, that might be fair. People want to support what Charlie's work and what he did. Okay. But then we're going to talk about Candace Owens being a grifter. And it's like, Candace hasn't really changed. She's been doing this for years. So it's like, hey, we're out here hawking a book. We're out here hawking donations, but Candace isn't allowed to make money. So I don't like the inconsistencies. We're 3 months beyond it. Some of the barriers are coming down. And I think, at this point, if Erica now, and she's the CEO, and maybe that's why she's doing it like this. But now, in what should be a grieving period, in my opinion, in what should be a period to be with friends and family, or maybe she's already gotten past that. But now to me, it's fair game. Now to me, it's the criticism, unfortunately, is fair game. Now, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to try to be very, very discerning, very judicial about how we cover this stuff. But to me, it's like, now it's fair game. You just did a week-long media tour. It's the same routine. You're wearing like $1 million in jewelry. And now you're going on with Barry Weiss, who's not very popular, for this town hall. So it kind of looks like it's open now. It kind of looks like, well, people are taking the barrier down, the guard down, and saying, okay, it's fair game now. But I've never seen it. I've never seen a woman mourn like this. She's not the first widow. She won't be the last. There's plenty of celebrity widows. But all right, maybe there's a good reason for that. I won't judge it, but I've never seen it before. And maybe this is where I'm kind of even flirting with going too far. But I think it's all fair. But really, it's not even commenting on that. I would just say, I don't know. Maybe I would ask it. Maybe I'd ask it instead of say it. Would you want your wife doing this after your death? Would you want your wife to do this after you were shot and killed? Maybe somebody would say yes. I don't know what Charlie would say. But I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't want that. And if anybody is not able to rest in peace, that somebody is Charlie Kirk. Now, I've thought about that before too. And I'm kind of the mindset of when I die, I'm dead, so I really don't care. So it would be more of like, I don't want my wife doing that probably for her own sake. And I feel like if I was around, I would say, please don't do that. So it's not even like I care because I'm dead. I think I'm dead, I'm gone. If I even come back to visit this reality, it's a favor to you guys. But I can't get out of it. I'm stuck here. I've lived this life 10 billion times, I think, now. So it's like I'm stuck in the edge of tomorrow here. But I don't know. Would you want your wife doing that? But Charlie is the definitive of can't rest in peace. It's like, this is the best example of like, hey, can we let him rest in peace? No. Can't do it. Won't let him rest in peace. And there's a great clip of Charlie going around now where he says, asking questions is the foundation of freedom. Something like that. Or if you can't ask questions anymore, then you don't have freedom anymore. It was something like that. And I'm actually going to have this conversation with somebody who kind of pushed back against that on a social media post today. And I said, all right, well, let's have a talk. Let's talk about it. Because I agree. I agree with Charlie. If you're not allowed to question things, then you're not free. And I actually said somebody that tells you not to question things is somebody that doesn't want you to expand your consciousness. And so I was called like a new age Christian or something. I was like, well, I don't know about that. So I rephrased it and I said, somebody that doesn't want you to ask questions doesn't want you to have knowledge and understanding. So I guess we got rid of the new age term of consciousness. I didn't know that was new age, but all right. Maybe it's fair to say I'm probably more spiritual than religious. So that was new age. So I rephrased it. I said, anybody that doesn't want you to ask questions doesn't want you to have knowledge and understanding. And anybody that doesn't want you to have knowledge or understanding probably wants to take advantage of you and enslave you, by the way. And that's what Charlie said in a new clip that's going viral. But if there's a definition of not being able to rest in peace, it's Charlie Kirk. And I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever be able to rest in peace with this. Now, his soul, I don't know. When you die, your soul, are you even interested in coming back here? I don't know. Maybe not. But yes, they will be letting cameras. They will be allowing the trial of Tyler Robinson to be viewed by the public. So that's going to get interesting. That's going to get interesting for sure. All right. Almost closing out the second hour. Let's plow. Let's see how much we can get through in the final 10 minutes here. I want to go to this clip of Elon Musk. Let's go to Elon Musk here. I think he's spot on with what he says.
First of all, you don't need college to learn stuff, okay? Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning. There is a value that colleges have, which is like, seeing whether can somebody work hard at something, including a bunch of sort of annoying homework assignments, and still do their homework assignments and kind of soldier through and get it done. That's like the main value of college. And then also, if you probably want to hang around with a bunch of people your own age for a while instead of going right into the workforce. So I think colleges are basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning.
He's right.
First of all,
he's right. And you can pretty much learn anything on the internet. And the funny thing is, even these colleges, college, like 80 grand a semester, you'll have courses like a $5,000 course for a semester or something, and you can watch it for free online. Literally, they publish them. Now you can't get the degree, right? I mean, you're paying for the piece of paper and then putting it on your resume. But Musk is right. The only thing I would say is now he says it's like, you build your resume, you prove that you can work. But now, again, you don't need college to do that. You can get a job right out of college and put that on your resume and prove that you can work. And really, it's probably more beneficial these days. And I'm lucky. I consider myself lucky, but you got to take a shot. If you're a young man listening to this, or young woman too, I suppose, don't be afraid to take your shot when you're young. Don't be afraid. Because one of the craziest shots I took ended up being one of the best things for me when I was 22 or whatever in college. And I was trying to finish my media studies degree because I was done with psychology, but I wasn't going to go into the field. So I needed to get a media degree. That was the field I was in. So I took a crazy shot. Telling the young people this. Take your shot. Take your shot when you're young. Most of the time, you'll probably have nothing to lose. If the risks are low, take the shot. And I'm looking at my schedule, and I'm in TV production and, broadcasting, 201, whatever, all this stuff. And I just go to the dean of the school, and I say, I'm literally working in these fields professionally. Do I really need to go take a class? And he said, no, you don't. I'll give you credits for working. And that's basically how I graduated. Like the last year of my school, I just worked. Take your shot, folks. But if you do want to learn something, you probably don't need to go to college to do it. And if you want to have fun, you don't need to go to college to do that either, by the way. Howard Lutnick. Here's why I like Howard Lutnick. I like people that tell it like it is. Why I like Elon Musk. So people can have their problems with Lutnick, and okay, that's fine. But I think he tells it like it is. I think that when I listen to Howard Lutnick talk, he's showing us this is what the conversations are like when the billionaires are talking. This is what the conversation is like when the people that own everything are talking. That's why I like Howard Lutnick, because I think he gives you a window into that. I think Elon Musk does too, by the way. That's why I like them. Disagreements or not on issues, I think that when you want to hear, it's like, what are the big tech billionaires thinking? Listen to Elon Musk. What are the financial elites and billionaires thinking? Listen to Howard Lutnick. So listen to what he says here. It's like, I don't like what he says here, but it's like, okay, well, you want to hear what they're saying behind the scenes? Listen to Howard Lutnick.
We're building huge amounts of energy here to keep energy prices low. We're going to create a great economy based on the AI infrastructure build. I think that's going to create advanced manufacturing so we can bring manufacturing and reshore it to America. Remember, Americans don't have millions of people to screw in little screws in iPhones, but we do have the capacity to run robotics. When I say robotics,
so there was the one. Let me just play that. That's the part right there that I want to respond to. Here it is.
Don't have millions of people and reshore it to America. Remember, Americans don't have millions of people to screw in little screws in iPhones.
Well, actually, we do. We literally do. It's a population of at least 350 million, so we literally do. But I understand what he's saying. I translate this, and I understand what he's saying. He's saying, look, China, India, wherever, where they have these massive populations, it's easier to fill a factory like that with people that just want to, screw things in or whatever. It's easier to fill it there. They have the human resources there. So it's just easier to do it there. Now, the truth is they don't like paying the corporate taxes here, so that's why they go over there, because it costs less and their profit go up. So that's what it's really about. And that was all legislation. That was all policy of Congress that sold us out. So it's the same traders. It's the same traders in Congress. And so until they're all arrested, it's going to continue. But I'm glad it's like this is how they're talking. So it's like behind the scenes, you got Apple in there, you got NVIDIA in there, Oracle, AMD, whoever, they're all in there. And Lutnick or Trump or somebody is like, hey, can we bring it back? Can we bring the manufacturing? And they say, well, people in America don't want to screw in, they don't want to screw in an iPhone. They don't want to put a screen in place. They don't want to put a microchip in. They don't want to work these jobs. Now, I kind of push back against that. I don't believe that, actually. Now, there might be a work ethic problem in this country, but I think you can solve that. But I disagree. There are millions of Americans that they can work these jobs. But you have to make it profitable for the corporations to have manufacturing here. And the only way they do that right now is with robotics. And that's why Lutnick is saying it's going to be here, but it's going to be robotics and AI. We're not going to have jobs for you. That's why nobody can get a job. But I'm hearing that and I'm saying, is it even really true? Now, does the average 30-year-old man or woman or 40, 50, whatever, with some experience under their belt or a family, do they want to be sitting in a factory for 8 to 10 hours a day, screwing in an iPhone or whatever? Do they want to be doing these tasks and these jobs? Obviously not. But you know what? Sometimes they might need it. Sometimes they might need relief. They might need something for a month or two. And this is the kind of job you just apply. And if, hey, can you screw in a nail? Yes. All right. $25 an hour. Come on down. We'll get you 40 hours a week. It's like, all right, you know what? I'm in an emergency. I'm in a pinch. I need a job. I need to get, all right, we got you. Come on in. That's the purpose these factories serve. That's how you built Main Street. But I think about it even more recent, before the death of Main Street. And I'm like, if I'm a young guy, and I do think the world is different. I do think the culture is different in America now. And I see this because I talk to high school guys. I talk to young guys. But it's not all of them. And you can change culture. You can change work ethic. But I think about myself, and I'm thinking, I'm 16, I'm 17. Would I take that job? Probably. If I could go into a factory and again, they need people to screw in nails or hammer nails or screw in nails, whatever. Screw in screws. Then they'll probably just take whatever they can get. Hey, you want to come in and work five hours on a couple nights? Okay. It's just plug and play. It's just human resources, human capital, just plug it in, just manufacture, just produce. And so I'm thinking, if I'm a young guy, I would probably love that job. If I can just go in there and just zone out and get paid $25 an hour. I mean, I don't know. That's how I operated. It's like, yeah, I like to have cash. I like to have cash so I can go hang out with my friends, go to a concert. So I can go take my girlfriend to dinner, buy her some flowers. It's like, I liked having money. I liked working when I was a young guy. As soon as I could drive, I got a job that I didn't have to walk to. So I just don't buy it. I don't think that there's a human capital problem here. There might be a work ethic culture amongst young people, but you can change that. You can change that. So I just don't buy this. I don't buy this idea that Americans don't want to work. I don't buy it. And I think there are plenty of young Americans that would take these jobs. And I think there are plenty of older Americans that are in a financial issue and a pinch right now that would probably take these jobs. Maybe not long term, but in the interim if they need it. So I just don't buy that. I don't like that attitude. I don't buy it. I don't agree with it. But at the end of the day, again, this is why I like Lutnick. He's telling you what they're saying, what they're thinking. But at the end of the day, the only reason why, it's because of profit. The only reason why they won't bring it back, it's not because of the lack of human capital. It's not because Americans don't want the job. It's because it's more profitable for them to manufacture overseas. That's why they don't come here.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
No, stop this. No one can 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 stop this.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, we're here in the third and final hour of the Owen Report for this week. That flew by. Get ready, folks. It'll be 2026 before you even know it. All right, I want to try my best to cover some of this news and take calls, but I don't know. We may just get into this news and the hour flies by and might not have time for calls. So it's going to be a little clunky here because I'm going to finish off today's stack and then get into some of the leftovers from this week. It's an enormous stack of leftovers here. You'd think I just had Thanksgiving dinner on my news desk with all these leftovers that we have. All right. I think the NFL has a problem. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's a clip of Joe Burrow that went viral. And I had an initial response to it. The internet had an initial response to it. I want to play the clip here and then see what your response is. And then I'll kind of give you what I think is happening.
Change the way that you view the game.
No, it certainly doesn't change my desire to win. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
How much fun are you having right now? Is it difficult to have fun given the season, what you've been through physically, emotionally, all of it? Is it tough?
Yeah, certainly.
Did you have fun playing? How much of it was fun before? Winning's always fun, but in general, was it as fun before you got hurt? Did you view it that way, at least?
No, I wouldn't say I viewed it that way. I think.
What was the changing point?
changing point. I'm not sure there was a singular moment or time. It's just a reflection on a lot of things that I've done and been through in my career. I think I've been through more than most, and certainly not easy on the brain or the body. So just trying to have fun doing it again.
You seem like there's something on your mind, or maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seemed frustrating.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above.
All right, now what is your takeaway from that? Most hear that and they're kind of thinking he's complaining about the situation in Cincinnati. He's complaining about his injury status and having to go through all of that. They're comparing it to Andrew Luck's unofficial retirement speech at a podium about 10 years ago. Now, I would say in response to that, Joe Burrow seemed way more measured and hesitant than Andrew Luck did. I mean, he pretty much laid it all out on the table. He didn't really leave much for the imagination when Andrew Luck did his unofficial retirement speech from the podium like that. He talked about how it was the injuries and how he couldn't do it anymore, and he had to. It was either he already had made the decision that if it was going to happen again, he was going to retire. So people think that that's Joe Burrow's Andrew Luck moment. I didn't really see it that way, but that's what a lot of people were saying. And they thought, well, maybe he's frustrated in Cincinnati or whatever. I don't really see it that way either. He seems to enjoy Cincinnati. He's got, Jamar Chase there, who's one of his really good friends. They've been friends since college. My first response to that was, and this is definitely personal bias because I think about this. My response to that was, I think some of these players are coming to the realization that the league is rigged. I think they're coming to the realization that the league is rigged. And if you play on a team like, say, a Cincinnati Bengals, they're never going to let you win a Super Bowl. And you're playing arguably the most dangerous sport. I don't want to have the debate. You get the point. It's a dangerous sport. You're playing a dangerous sport. Joe Burrow's already had like 5 surgeries. So it's like, well, why do I go out here and put my body on the line if the games are rigged? If I don't have a fair shot to win, and he brings up winning, he talks about that. It's like, if I don't have a fair shot to win, what am I doing here? I don't think he wants to retire. That's not what I got out of this. I don't think it's frustrating the bank. My response was, I think these players are starting to think that the league is rigged too. And I think some of them are maybe starting to look at their own sidelines and think, hey, maybe some of my teammates are in on it with some of these bets and some of these investigations that are ongoing. That was my response. Now, you might think I'm crazy, but here's a little proof. Here's a little proof that, yes, some of the top players in the league are thinking the same thing. This is Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the league. He gets asked directly, watch what happens.
Freeze type shit? Like it's scripted? Cat got my tongue. I can't say. Oh, okay, interesting. He's trying to tell you something. Can't say anything. But
he didn't say no. He didn't say no. Now, if you've been with us for the full show, you remember what I talked about in the beginning, how as we start to have this total separation of the haves and the have-nots, eventually you're going to reach this point where the haves are going to tell you to shut up and accept your role. So I explained it earlier with some of the things that we're probably going to go through as the slave class in America, as the peasant class in America. But I think the same thing is going to happen with these players. And maybe for some of them, they've already had the conversation. And it's, hey, listen, bud, you get paid millions of dollars to play a child's game, so stop complaining. Yeah, it's rigged, but we rig it so that you can make the most money. And you know who actually said that? Joe Burrow, just 2 weeks ago. I think the players are maybe getting fed up with it like a lot of the fans are. That's my takeaway. And I think they're starting to look at the sidelines. I think they're starting to look at the NFL executives, maybe the refs, maybe Las Vegas, maybe all of the above. And some of these guys are in it because they love the game. Some of these guys are in it because they love competition. Now, I'm from a generation of men that used to bet on themselves to win, like Pete Rose, not Michael Jordan, I'm sure. But now guys just make bets to win money. It's obviously going on. And if you follow this stuff, folks, there have been things that have happened this year in college football and this year in professional football that you've never seen before. And it all happens to flip a line at an end of a game or an end of a half. You're like, wow, why would that happen? And then you look at Vegas and you're like, oh. So I'm starting to get the feeling that some of the players are starting to have kind of the same questions or thoughts that some of the fans are having, which is this all just rigged? Is the whole thing just rigged? And if it is rigged, then what am I doing? I'm not playing for the love of money. I'm playing because I love the game. So you can't come to me when I'm complaining about rigging games and say, hey, shut up. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Now, I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine, and he reached the conclusion that they're just going to go all in and just basically become WWE NFL. I think they have to back off. I think that they're going to realize that if they do that, they're going to kill the golden goose. This isn't wrestling. This isn't a soap opera for men. I think they're going to have to back off, and because they know they're going to kill the golden goose if this goes on. So I think they're eventually going to have to back off this and stop the obvious rig jobs so much. But now that gambling is going legal everywhere, it's like, well, there's so many people that are interested in keeping it going. But I feel like this is an inevitable conversation now, and I think the players are starting to have it too. And I don't think all the players are going to go along with that and say, well, I'm rich. Now, it's about 10 or so years ago, maybe more now. This is when it first started getting suspicious, actually. It was about 10 or 15 years ago, the NFL made a rule that you're not allowed to criticize officiating, and they'll fine you if you do. And I'm sure they have other stuff in contracts and NFL Players Association agreements and stuff like that where they can't talk about, league activity, like could it be rigged? And that's probably why Amon-Ra St. Brown, when he gets asked about it being scripted, said, I can't say anything. Starting to pick it up. Now, remember, too, we played, did I tell you guys? Now, this one has been a little wild. So it was a Thursday night football game last night. I told you that the Amazon post-game show was going off the hook. Remember that deal? If you were with us a couple months ago on a Friday, I told you that the Amazon team that does Thursday night football, they had the realization that, wait a second, we don't have terrestrial barriers anymore. We can say whatever the hell we want now. We don't have to deal with these networks and the terrestrial rules. And they kind of had that realization. And so now the post-Thursday night football crew has gone wild. They've just gone wild. And now the players are going along with it. So this happened last night after the game. Bijan Robinson of the Falcons, he said something, and he got in trouble for this one. Smear the queer. You hear that? So maybe everybody doesn't know what smear the queer is, but it's basically an old schoolyard game, backyard game where whoever has the ball, everybody goes after him. That's the only rule. Whoever has the ball, that's who you try to get until they lose the ball. So that's what he's saying. He's like, yeah, everybody's coming after me, but I played smear the queer, man. Smear the queer. So he had to apologize for this. I mean, obviously you can't say that. So he issued the apology today. It's Amazon Thursday night, man. Okay. There's no rules anymore. It's the no fun league. Bijan Robinson today. Hey, everyone. I want to apologize for the insensitive comment I made in the broadcast. It was a football game we used to play as a kid. but that's not an excuse. I recognize the mistake and make sure to do better in the future. It was not reflective of my beliefs, and I am so sorry to those I offended. Seriously. Come on, man. What? You can't say smear the queer? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. What happened to the dirty birds? What happened to the dirty birds? What happened to too legit to quit? Man, apologizing. You can't even say smear the queer. Unbelievable. By the way, did you see the one conspiracy theory with Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins? This is a funny one. I don't have it on the desk, but I'll mention it before I move on. So the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins, suck this year. And then they go play a game in Germany, and I think they're like 1-7. The Dolphins are 1-7. They play a game in Germany, and the quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, comes out after the game, and somebody says, Tua, they just finished the game. I think it was Germany or Spain, whatever, somewhere in Europe. And somebody says, Tua, where do you think the NFL should go next? Where do you think you would like to play next? And Tua says, I'd like to play in Israel. I think it'd be cool if we played in Jerusalem. The Miami Dolphins are 6-0 since. 6-0. Proof of? So that's another funny one. All right, we're moving on from the sports stuff for now. Got to loosen up it a little bit. Got to loosen it up every once in a while, guys. All right, just accept it. It is what it is. So Newsmax. So this was last night on Newsmax. Now I'm hearing more and more from people that were typically Fox News viewers that are switching over to Newsmax. And I haven't really created a habit of this yet, and maybe I'm gonna start doing that now. This is Carl Higbee on Newsmax. Now, I said it a while ago, Fox News is pretty much worthless these days. And a lot of people I talk to, specifically older people that still watch most of their news, get most of their news from cable, I'm hearing more and more now that they're switching over to Newsmax. So this is on Newsmax last night. Now, you'll never hear anything like this on Fox News. But this is Newsmax. This is Carl Higbee. And this is the stuff that Tucker Carlson used to do on Fox News. But tell me right now if this doesn't knock it out of the park in a 3-minute monologue.
Everyone's, oh, this is the most important election. No, the most important election of our lifetimes from here on out is the next one. Okay. And then the one after that. And then the one after that. And if Republicans don't make these things into law and get this through their head, they're going to lose. And Republicans are going to sit there in the minority scratching their head. I don't understand why we didn't have turnout. The better question is, Mike Johnson, why would we show up to vote? You haven't thrown a single person in jail. There's no accountability for COVID. And New York Dems ran the guy who literally stuffed elderly patients into retirement homes with COVID and killed people. They blocked meds that would have saved lives. They shut down schools. They forced people to get a vaccine against their will, who then got heart conditions and nothing happened. And they lied about it, coming from some dude that it was in he ate a bat in a wet market while Fauci and his cabal were killing beagles and funding the Wuhan coronavirus lab and expected us to believe that it didn't come from a lab in Wuhan named coronavirus. No one in jail for Russiagate, for censorship. Not one of the 51 former Intel officials who told us that Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian plant. It actually does turn out that Hunter Biden was, in fact, smoking crack in bathtubs with hookers. You failed to indict Letitia James for like the 3rd time today because you did it wrong the first time. Still haven't charged Adam Schiff for the same mortgage fraud. Looks like James Comey is probably going to get off scot-free. And the best the Republicans can do is, here's $800 million more for Ukraine. Why the hell would Republicans be excited to vote if Trump's not on the ballot? You want to keep your majority? Throw 100 people in jail for political corruption and all the corruption that Doge uncovered. None of those people are in jail. That's like low-hanging fruit, including everybody involved with the auto pen primary, all the 21 state senators in Indiana who just voted with Democrats to oppose congressional redistricting for their own party. They essentially just gave up 2 seats. Abolish the filibuster and just start getting stuff done. Give us nationwide reciprocity. Abolish the income tax. While you're at it, let's deep six the IRS, and then you can sell the building or drone strike it or do whatever you want so nobody can come back to it. And then you can tell the Muslims seeking refugee status to do it in the 56 surrounding Muslim countries that they have rather than here, so we don't have to pay their benefits. You do that, you'll gain seats in the House. We'll have 300-seat majority. People like me will be excited to go out and vote because we're not right now. Because if you do that stuff, man, Mike, I'm telling you, I will legit run through a wall like the Kool-Aid dude to get to the polls. But if you don't, you'll lose.
Now, I'm not going to say I agree with every single thing he says there, but I mean, the attitude, the direction, the vibe. Yeah, he's 100% spot on. And that's where I think most people are starting to get right now on the right. I don't know if it's crossed over a majority to say that a majority of people on the right feel that way, but I do believe it's crossed over the 25% threshold. And, you know, make up whatever arbitrary number you want. But the reason why I think that the percentage it's at right now is important because the percentage of what would be Republican voters that feel like that and are disenfranchised and aren't going to vote, that percentage is enough for the Democrats to win. The percentage of Republican voters that are just not going to vote out of disenfranchisement, or they're going to vote for Democrats out of an FU vote to Republicans, is now a high enough percentage that it will lead to victory for the Democrats. And I think everybody's starting to see it. I think everybody's starting to see it, and it's not going away. It's not going away. Can you imagine, folks, what is going to happen if we get another year like this last year ahead of the midterms? Do you realize what an unmitigated disaster, what a rout it's going to be? If this administration continues to focus on bad foreign policy, and if this administration continues to focus on regime change wars and get run by the foreign interests and the special interests, and there's no deep state arrests, there's no massive tax cuts, there's no real reform, do you have any idea how bad this is going to be? And I just don't understand. They have to know it. There's no way they're that dumb. There's no way they're that blind. So that's why I'm sitting here thinking, what is their plan? I'm done. I don't think they have any plan to help me. I don't think they have any plan to help you. I think they've sold us out. I think they've already decided. If anything, the decision is probably the country's collapsing. The country's dead anyway. So let's just sell it and steal everything we can before it officially collapses. But still, the ramifications of the Democrats winning will affect them, will affect Donald Trump personally. So that's why I'm like, do they really not understand how bad this is about to get? I don't know how they could be that foolish. I don't know how they could be that blind. And yet, if we get another year like we had this year in 2026, the midterms are going to be so bad. And then you're going to hand them the presidential election, and you're going to have a Newsom-Cortez ticket. That's what you're going to get. Good luck with that. And there'll be nobody to blame but this administration. There'll be nobody to blame but President Trump. But don't worry, he'll have his face on a gold card. He'll have his face on a coin. He'll have his face on a $500 bill. He'll have an embassy in Jerusalem with a big giant statue of him. And I guess the MAGA cheerleaders will cry. They'll all cry a river as Trump is leaving the White House, how much they'll miss him. But really, internally, they're crying because they know that they sold themselves out in the process. And now it's over. And now they're worthless. Like a cheap hooker, like a used-up hooker, like an old political hag hooker. But there's no way they can't see this coming. There's no way they don't understand how bad it's going to be. Well, we'll find out, won't we? Maybe there's a solution. Now, this is actually insane.
So what?
And yet it makes sense. I don't know this I don't know this actor's name. I definitely recognize him from some things. He was in the first, what's the name of that movie? I don't remember. Well, anyway, this is a famous actor. You probably recognize him. And when you hear this, it sounds insane. And then you think about it and you're like, this is actually a potential solution. How can we save the country? How can you still have elections and save the country from all this political corruption? This is an outside the box idea. I actually like it. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I think it would actually work.
Your take. We need to stop having all elections of any kind, and we need to choose all of our politicians and leaders through a completely randomized lottery system.
100% disagree. That's
Why?
one of the worst ideas I've ever heard in my life.
I'm genuinely shocked that you're saying this.
I'm shocked that you're saying this.
What's bad about it?
So no more voting.
Well, first of all, no one really votes that much anymore. Do you know what I mean? Turnout is pretty low.
True.
And second of all, what are you afraid of if you do that? That we might get bad politicians?
Yes, that is what I'm afraid of.
Okay, yeah, right.
I think he's on to something. I'll tell you this right now. There's no way. There is no way if you did a randomized lottery selection for all of your members of Congress, there is a 0% chance it could be any more corrupt than it is now. 0%. I would say the odds are if you did it that way, that would probably be the least corrupt Congress that we've ever seen in our life, that we've ever seen in what, decades, centuries? I don't know. Definitely my life. Definitely my 36 years, that would be the least corrupt Congress. Now, you'd have to make sure that that process is not rigged. Sounds crazy. It's a horrible idea, and yet it just might work. What do you think? I think that might actually work. All right. Well, you know what? I got two options with 30 minutes left. To take some calls. U.S. forces raid ship, seized cargo, headed to Iran from China, so we're raiding more ships. More Epstein photos are coming out. Combat rescue aircraft tankers arrive in Caribbean as Pentagon buildup accelerates. They're going for war. It looks like they're going for war here. This is just nuts. Unbelievable. They're going to pull this all off before Christmas. I can't believe we're dealing with this. I'm going to finish off with the news. We took calls yesterday. I'm going to finish off with the news. This is how corrupt these wars are, folks. This is why Americans are so sick of it. This is Amanda Sloat from the Biden administration telling the truth about the Ukraine war. Listen to this.
I mean, look, the NATO question has always been difficult. You know, I mean, we had some conversations even before the war started about what if Ukraine comes out and just says to Russia, fine, you know, we won't go into NATO, you know, if that stops the war, if that stops the invasion, which at that point it may well have done. I was uncomfortable with the idea of the U.S. pushing Ukraine not to do that and sort of implicitly giving Russia some sort of sphere of influence or veto power on that.
So in other words, they could have stopped the war and they didn't because they knew it would make them money. And now Larry Fink is in there negotiating because BlackRock is going to come rebuild it all, just like they're going to do in the Gaza Strip. I'm so sick of this corruption. I'm so sick of this corruption. And now it's this administration just as corrupt, if not more corrupt than the last. I'm sick of it. It's disgusting. It sickens me. So Tucker Carlson is back in Qatar. This one really pissed him off. You're not allowed to do this. This is why they hate Miss Rachel. You're not allowed to show the children that Israel has blown the limbs off of. These are all child victims of Israel's bombs, U.S. bombs. Arms blown off, legs blown off, head injuries.
Children with special needs, or they are.
How many have two parents?
So it goes on. So Carlson is being attacked because he went to see the child victims of the war in Gaza. You're not allowed to do that. That makes you an anti-Semite. So he responded to give this take on the situation in Qatar.
Donald Trump was working to bring peace between Iran and Israel didn't want that at all. And so they tried to murder the negotiators in that round of peace talks from Hamas in Doha. And then they tried to tell the world that actually Trump signed off on this. That Trump knew. Totally false. Trump did not know. Not only did they do this, they tried to implicate Trump in it. And he responded a couple of weeks later with an executive order that I'm going to throw on my glasses and read this because it's, I bet not 1 in 100 people knows this even happened. So this was at the end of September this year. Listen to this. He signed an executive order, and this is verbatim, called the Assuring the Security of the State of Qatar. So next time you hear someone on Fox News be like, the terror state of Qatar, if only Trump knew, right? Assuring the security of the state of Qatar. And we're quoting, over the years, the United States and the state of Qatar have been bound together by close cooperation, shared interests, and the close relationship between our armed forces. The state of Qatar has hosted United States forces, enabled critical security operations, and stood as a steadfast ally in pursuit of peace, stability, and prosperity, both in the Middle East and abroad, including as a mediator that has assisted the United States' attempts to resolve significant regional and global conflicts. Listen to this. In recognition of this history and in light of the continuing threats to the state of Qatar posed by foreign aggression, it is the policy of the U.S. to guarantee the security and territorial integrity of the state of Qatar against external attack. The United States shall regard any armed attack on the territory, sovereignty, or critical infrastructure of the state of Qatar as a threat to the peace and security of the United States. Oh, wait a second. What was the last act of foreign aggression against Qatar? Well, it happened that exact same month. It was a bombing by Israel. So Israel bombs Qatar, and Donald Trump issues an executive order saying, if you do that again, reading by the language here, we're going to war with you. Donald Trump took the side of Qatar over and above Israel and told Israel, and who knows if he'd actually do it, hard to believe, but it's in the executive order. If you do this again, that's tantamount to an attack on us. That's a security guarantee. That's unbelievable. So keep that in mind, because there are an awful lot of Trump voters, really nice, sincere people who are still upset about 9/11. The residue is still in their mouth. That part of the world did it to us. Islam did it to us. And anyone who wants to have a normal relationship with an Islamic country is probably pro-Al-Qaeda. I get it. I get it. I know those feelings, had them. But here's Donald Trump, the guy that you voted for, taking Qatar's side against Israel. And why is that? Because Donald Trump is a secret Islamist? No. Because Qatar is a lot better for the United States than Israel has been.
And that's putting it lightly. All right, you may have seen, I think Fuentes responded to this clip last night. I had it on the desk. We're not able to get to it until today. But if you want to see why was Nick Fuentes attacking Roseanne Barr, here's why.
What are you going to do about it, Nick Fuentes? What you going to do about it when I tell you, you little bastard, you're going to be begging the Jews to give you, I don't know what.
Medicine for his Kalman syndrome.
You're going to be begging the Jews to help you down on your knees and repent like Kanye West, motherfucker. Keep it up. It's a fucking, what do they call it?
Reckoning.
It's a sting. It's a God sting. Are you going to go against the God of Abraham? You're going to shit talk the God of the Torah? Keep it up, motherfucker.
Not
You'll
just the
see what
Torah,
happens.
the Bible, Jesus.
We'll see what happens when you try to overthrow the Constitution of the United States, the Republic of the United States of America. You talk shit about that, saying it ain't good, that we got to have some Catholic theology to replace it. You can kiss my motherfucking rich Jew American ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Come and debate me. Let's debate.
Wow. Well, I'm going to not spend too much time on that, but Roseanne, wow. Roseanne, you come off like a deranged bitch. You come off like a psychotic, deranged bitch. And this has to be one of the craziest things. You know, Roseanne, okay, TV legend, right? Whole show named after her. TV legend. American comedy icon. One of the top, I mean, you'd think women comedy TV, Roseanne is up there. So then she basically gets kicked off of her own show because she comes out as a Trump supporter. So they kick her off of her own show. They rename the show. I don't know what they did. Did they kill her off? I don't know. She's out. She's out. She's out of her own show. She comes out. She's an American patriot. She's standing strongly with Trump. Now, this is the craziest thing. And I didn't spend a bunch of time, but you know, I have a photographic memory, and it's like 99%. So you don't like to make those bets. It's like if there's a 1% chance I get it wrong, it's like you don't want to make that bet. But I mean, it's a 99% bet, so I'll make it. Folks, Roseanne, before she did this whole like Jew identity, like this Jewish queen entitlement, like Israel loyalist, like Israel lobby entitlement, before she did this, you realize it was not too long before she did that she was on air bashing Israel. And I think Jews too. And now it might have been as like a joke or something. I know for a fact that happened. I remember seeing it. I remember hearing it. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is where Roseanne is going now. That's interesting. And then all of a sudden it was like, then she just became like another member of the Mark Levin wing of the Israeli lobby out of nowhere. That's got to be one of the craziest cycles you've ever seen. Roseanne, TV comedy icon, kicked off her own show because she supported Trump, leans in, American patriot, then comes out, kind of turns it into some comedy stuff, rips Israel. And then all of a sudden she reemerges in her final phase as a deranged maniac Israeli lobbyist, threatening Americans, bashing Catholics, saying that you need to get on your knees for Jews. Well, you know how I know now, Roseanne, that you might be an American via technicality, but you're not an American at your soul, because Americans get on their knees for no man. But I guess you don't understand that. You know, I don't even know if I'm, I don't know if I want to play this next video, but maybe you need to see it. Now, I've been warning about this for years, folks. I've been warning about this for years. You can even go back to the InfoWars days. I used to warn about this. I said, social media is the new mainstream media. And the exact same propaganda that you used to see on television, you're now going to start seeing on social media. Well, people are starting to put two and two together, and they're starting to compile the proof that that's exactly what's going on. So for the audio listeners, I'll explain what I'm about to put on the screen here, but I'm just going to play the video first so that people can see it.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media
All right, so you've probably seen that before. And for clarity, the final post there by MJ Truth Ultra was actually covering the fact that they were all saying it. That wasn't really in on it. They were just covering that everybody was doing it. And then they play the clip where they're all reading off the exact same teleprompter. Folks, I'm telling you this as a fact. I know this as a fact. Now, I can't say specifically for each of the individual posts that we saw there. I don't know. But I know for a fact, folks, I have a big X account. I don't want to say anything else, but I know for a fact these memos get sent out and there are paid posts on X. Only, I'm not even talking about for a product or a service or a promotion. I mean, there are literally memos that go out just to do character assassinations. I know this. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you listening? I know this. Can't speak to all the individuals there. I don't know. But when you see the same talking point going out over everybody's social media post, starting to get it? They're getting sent a script. They're getting sent a memo. This is happening. Again, I can't speak to everybody whose post I just put up there. I don't know. I'm just saying we're all witnessing it now. It's just like mainstream media. It's just like local media, reading off the teleprompter. Now they just do it on social media, folks. Now they just do it on social media. By the way, Zoran Mamdani, he's hanging out with his favorite Jews, the Torah Jews. Happening now, our upcoming mayor, Zoran Mamdani, is being warmly welcomed at the Grand Satmar event tonight amongst tens of thousands of anti-Zionist Orthodox Jews. Hey, Zionists, according to your rule book, we are all anti-Semites. You know, this is so great because now, see, they don't cover this, right? They don't cover this in the media. You're not going to see this anywhere in the media. You're not going to see this anywhere in the Western media, anywhere in the American media. And that's intentional because they don't want you to know that, hey, guess what? Not every American Jew thinks the same thing. American Jews are just like every other group of people, every other demographic in this country that think differently. Not every black person thinks the same. Not every white person thinks the same. Not every Jewish person thinks the same. But when it comes to Jews, they only want you to think they're all hardcore Zionists, they're all hardcore right-wingers, so that when you go against them, they use them as a political body shield and say, hey, you can't do that. Folks, this event is massive. This picture here, this is Zoran here with the Torah Jews here in New York that are the anti-Zionist Jews. Do you hear about the anti-Zionist Jews? Does Mark Levin talk about the anti-Zionist Jews? See, notice that. See, Mark Levin and Sebastian Gorka and all these people, they'll talk about all the white men that talk about Israel. They'll target all of the white men and attack all of the white men. And I guess Candace Owens, throw her in there too, but she's married to a white man, so maybe that's what they count. No, they will attack all the white men that dare do commentary on Israel. But they won't say a damn thing. They won't even mention this event. Folks, look at how massive this event is. If I can try to give you, this is a football arena that they are in here. Now, I don't know much about this group. I'm assuming this is the same rabbi, and I think this might even be him right here. I don't know. They all have the beard and the hair and the hat. So, I mean, give me a break. This is the same Jewish group where he went to have breakfast the day after he won the election, who were campaigning for him in New York City, who were getting out the Jewish vote in New York City for Mamdani. This is the same group. Have you heard any of these Zionists on the right say anything about them? Have you even heard them say one word about them? No. because it defeats their narrative. So Mark Levin will have no problem attacking a white man that says something about Israel he doesn't like. But he won't say a damn word about 10,000 Jews in New York City that say they're anti-Zionists. He won't say a damn word about them. Won't mention it because it destroys his narrative and shows that he is a liar and a bigot, actually. He is an anti-white bigot. Folks, this is a football arena. There are literally, I don't think you could fit more Jews in a football arena. They set a record, the most Jews in a football arena. And all the commentary, whether it's directed at Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or all of them, all the commentary against the Jew haters and the anti-Semites, all of them, and not a single one of them will mention 10,000 anti-Zionist Jews in New York City. Not one of them, because they're all liars. And they're all running a propaganda campaign aimed at you. They don't want you to know. Guess what? Not every Jewish American has to think like Mark Levin. Not every Jewish American is such a diabolical freak like Mark Levin. And in fact, most Jewish Americans actually vote Democrat, but that's a separate issue. There are plenty of American Jews that are anti-Zionists. There are plenty of American Jews and Israeli Jews, by the way, that don't like Netanyahu. But Mark Levin will never say a damn word of that because it defeats his narrative. And he's a liar and a propaganda agent of a foreign country. So just remember, it's all about narrative control. It's all about optics. I don't know. I got more on this. I don't think I can do it. That's all I can do on that. Let me see if there's anything else I need to get off the desk here before we close for the weekend. Did you see this? This is how it's done. Bulgaria's government resigns after mass protests and just weeks before nation due to join Eurozone. They've been protesting out in the streets. Bulgaria's government resigned on Thursday after mass protests gripped the country and just weeks before the EU nation is due to join the Eurozone. The resignation of the minority coalition led by the center-right GERB party was announced minutes before Parliament was scheduled to vote on a no-confidence motion tabled by the opposition. Yada, 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 wonk, wonk, wonk. So they did it. They protested and their government resigned. They protested and their government resigned. The corrupt government resigned. Formally submitted now. It's over. We should all be like the Bulgarians. That's why I'm starting the ADAPAC. ADAPAC. The Arrest Them All Political Action Committee. What do you guys think about Bitcoin? We don't really talk much about Bitcoin. China Television, China TV here, CGTN, they're talking about Bitcoin, and an interesting conclusion is reached.
Well, if Bitcoin will become the ultimate type of a form of the currency been adopted by human society, I can tell exactly what's going to happen as the worst scenario or the must scenario. We're all going to die. This is not a joke. Well,
you're right about that. We are all going to die. I don't know how you went from Bitcoin to we're all going to die. That was quite a transition, and there was no bridge. But you are right. I do think we are all going to die. I just hope it's not like this. This is the new Chinese robot that they have. Look at this here. The new Chinese robot. It's like Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa, I think. How would you like to be next? How would you like to be the guy that has to put on the fighting gear and get hit by a robot? Yeah, these guys throwing combos. It's coming, folks. It's coming. There's gonna be robots everywhere in 10 years. That's probably it's the longest. Probably gonna be 5. All right. Get ready for that. They're trying to do a measles scare right now. You may have seen that. Hundreds quarantined as South Carolina measles outbreak accelerates. They're quarantining. It's a measles outbreak. Fairfield County child diagnosed with measles as it spreads to Connecticut. Yeah, well, this all came here with the illegal immigrants, but they're going to try to punish the Americans for it. Venezuela vows to break America's teeth. So that goes on. Trump is now talking about land strikes. Putin having calls with Maduro, backs the Maduro regime. Now Trump is threatening Colombia. Now Trump is threatening to get into it with Colombia if they step in. He just pardoned the judge or relinquished the sanctions on the judge in Brazil that went against his best friend in the geopolitical world, Jair Bolsonaro, total traitor. Trump's handling of the economy, all-time low in poll numbers. He keeps telling you how great it is, not working. Home prices go negative for the first time in over 2 years, may stay that way for a while. Housing market looking like it could collapse. It's the greatest economy ever. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says U.S. may be drastically overstating jobs numbers. Yeah, they are. And actually, they're not even giving to you the numbers because they're not good. Justice Department fails to reindict Letitia James again. Yeah, we had that one first. Total failure. Can't get Comey, can't get James, can't get Schiff, can't get anybody. The whole thing disgusts me. Australians ditch U.S. travel as new rules require social media to be declared so that we find out the policy is basically if you've criticized Israel in the last 5 years, you're not allowed to come here. So that's nice. That's good. You can criticize the U.S. government as much as you want, but you know how that goes. Let's see. Anything else we need to get off the desk? U.S. slaps sanctions on Maduro as relatives. Maduro relatives. Now Maduro's relatives are getting sanctions. Man, if they do a land strike on Venezuela, folks, how much more of this crap are we going to take? I might start protesting Trump because I don't really do the street protests anymore. It's like I almost learned a lesson from Trump. It's like don't trust any politician. Don't even risk anything for a politician. It's like, why would I go back on the streets for any politician after this? And maybe that's really what Trump's final legacy will be. President Trump, after all the support, after everything we did for him, and he sells us all out, nobody will ever want to do anything for a politician ever again. Nobody will ever want to march, do a rally, anything. Maybe it's time to start doing anti-Trump marches. Maybe it's time to bring that back if he strikes Venezuela. What a sick thing that would be. Republicans admit no one knows what the Venezuela mission is. They don't even know what's going on. Oh, we're getting the drugs. Now we're getting the oil. Now we're doing land strikes. It's been regime change from day one, just like in Iran. Man. Let's see here. I'll tell you what. Let's go out with some odds and ends. How about that? There's plenty of stuff, plenty of serious stuff. We covered plenty of serious stuff. We can maybe we'll hold it over the weekend. Let's go out on a more positive note, if you will. This is, I guess this is like Canada's Saturday Night Live here. And they're making fun of the Trump administration now. It's, you know what? It used to not hit because there was no reality to it. But now that the Trump administration is really corrupt as I see it and letting everybody down and selling us out and betraying us, now this stuff kind of hits. I don't know. Does it hit for you? It kind of hit for me. Canadians, SNL here making fun of does it hit for you now? None of that stuff hit in the first administration and beyond. None of it hit because it wasn't legit. It wasn't based in reality. There was no directional reality to it. Now there is. Now it actually hits. It's like the same thing with the Daily Show clip from earlier, folks. Now it all hits. You know, I got to wonder, though, aside from the comedic value here, if we start to see people exit the administration, folks, I would start to be alarmed. If you start to see people leaving this administration, I think that's because they now look at it the same way we're seeing it, which is the White House and President Trump has betrayed us and they're not working for us anymore. And they don't want anything to do with it. It's the same reason Jen Psaki left. Because she realized what was going on with Biden and said, not doing this. I want to have a career beyond this. And if I stick around here, I'm not going to have a career beyond this. Now, notice she has the job on MSNBC. Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't. And that's on the left that has like no standards, no morals. And they won't even hire Jean-Pierre. I do think she will eventually end up somewhere, but hasn't yet. Hasn't yet. And usually that transitions pretty fast from press secretary to TV. It usually happens pretty fast. Not happening for old Karine. And she even did the makeover. She did the book deal, everything. Can't get the TV job. Jen Psaki saw it. She said, if I stick around here, I'm going to end up owning this crap. I ain't doing that. If you start to see people leave this administration, folks, that's a red alert. They don't want to be tied to whatever it is that's going on anymore. They don't want to go down with it anymore. I would say if that starts happening, then that's like the total confirmation that it's over. There is no MAGA. It's all foreign interest. It's all special interest. That's it. It's all betrayal. So if that starts happening soon, next year, that's the red alert, guys. That's the whatever doubts we had that maybe it's okay, maybe things can get better. If you start seeing the exits, I think that's the sign of they've decided I'm not hitching my trailer to this wagon anymore because it's not going anywhere good and people are going to see it. And I don't want that to be my reputation. I don't want that to be my legacy. Keep an eye out for that. You're already hearing rumors. Have you started watching the Christmas movies yet? I'm starting to get into the mood. We're going to go Max Christmas next week. We're going to start Max Christmas next week. In the meantime, though, maybe this weekend it's time to really start to dive in. The Christmas movies, the Christmas music. Now, Home Alone it's got to be one of the best Christmas movies. It's a Christmas classic, if you will, obviously. I think every Christmas, do we all watch Home Alone? Every Christmas I'm watching Home Alone, Home Alone 2. Sometimes maybe even Home Alone 3, underrated classic itself. Definitely a Christmas staple, Christmas movie staples from me. But listen to this breakdown. Listen to this breakdown of Home Alone as a Christian movie. Have you ever heard this before? This is actually pretty wild.
He had this post that also went viral about how Home Alone is a Christian movie. This is nuts. I can't believe I've never noticed this before. It's the scene where Kevin's walking into the church, right? And so I'm going to read this. He says, watch this scene very carefully where Kevin is drawn into the beauty and warmth of the church. As he walks inside to Oh Holy Night, he hears the words, fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices. Now, next screenshot, I'm setting the mood.
Yeah, I like it.
A sanctuary candle passes across the foreground, indicating that Christ is present inside the church. Then next screenshot, Kevin has an encounter with a Christ figure. Now, if you think this is crazy, just stick with me for a second. Kevin has an encounter with a Christ figure, Old Man Marley. Now, this isn't in the post, but I'll just point this out. When you first meet Old Man Marley in the movie, what's he doing? He's salting the earth. Now, so check this out. So Old Man Marley, Christ figure, Kevin makes a confession to him, then shakes his hand, and we see a bandage on Marley's hand. Now check this out, bro. Check this out. It's never explained in the movie why his hand is wounded. But earlier in the movie, we see, drumroll, go to that next one. Go to the next one. Whoa. His hand is pierced all the way through. So top there, blood. Go back to the other one. Bottom, blood. His hand is pierced all the way through, like the nails driven through Christ's hands on the cross. At the end of the movie, Kevin cannot save himself from the burglars. And so Marley appears again to rescue him. Home Alone is a Christian movie.
Wow. Well, you probably never heard that breakdown before. That's pretty crazy, though. We're going to be putting out our Christmas movie list probably this weekend. And we're going to be putting out our Christmas music. We do the top 10 Christmas movies. We do the top 10 Christmas songs every year. We're going to be putting those out for 2025 for this Christmas season. We're going to be putting those out pretty soon. I think we'll probably do it this weekend. We'll do it this weekend. How about that? How about we do that this weekend? Anything else we want to get to here before we sign off? Oh, I got some other funny stuff. All right. You want to have a laugh? This is just totally out of nowhere. This is out of nowhere, folks. This is like nothing you've ever seen or heard before. You don't even know what you're about to witness. Trust me. If I gave you 10 bajillion guesses, if I said, what do you think I'm about to play? If I gave you 10 bajillion guesses, you wouldn't, there's no way. This would never even cross your mind. This is the song. If you grew up in the 90s, 2000s, listening to the radio, you know the song 1,000 Miles. You know the song 1,000 Miles. But did you know there's a new Arnold Schwarzenegger remake? Check it out.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past and I'm homebound. Staring blankly ahead, just making my way through the crowd. And I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you tonight.
I mean, that has to be AI, obviously. That's not actually Arnold Schwarzenegger doing that, I'm guessing. But AI is crazy, man. Isn't AI just absolutely crazy? And I don't even think we know the half of it yet. I don't even think we have a grasp on how crazy AI is going to get. And it's going to become so bad where you're gonna reach this point where nobody even knows what to trust anymore. Nobody knows what's real or what's AI anymore. That time is coming fast, folks. That time is closing in fast, I will tell you. Closer than you might think. Might be right around the corner, actually. Might be right around the corner. You know, I've been bad this week. I forgot to mention it. We put this on the site earlier this week, and I blew it, and I never even mentioned it. So I apologize for that. We do have the Christmas sweater available at owenschroyer.store. I want to at least let you know. The Christmas sweater is available at owenschroyer.store. There it is right there. It's got my hair with the skull. And the store itself, owenschroyer.store, we are going to be doing a major revamp for next year. So the items that are on the storefront right now probably will be gone. Probably will be gone for 2026. Some stuff might stay up, but a lot of stuff is going to be gone. So if there's stuff on there, check it out, owenschroyer.store. A lot of it will be gone in 2026 when we redo the storefront. So just FYI. But the Christmas sweater is available now at owenschroyer.store. All right. A week of a crazy week of broadcasts. And we spent our one free crash out this crash out season. We spent our one free crash out, so there's none left. And we almost had one today, but we caught ourselves. We recovered. We made it out all right. We made it out okay. But it was close today, folks. It was close. All right, hey. It's time. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's time. We're going Max Christmas next week. Merry Christmas. Have a great weekend. Find some time for some fun. Get outside, even if the weather's cold, snowy, whatever. It's last I checked, it was 70 and sunny in Austin. Not anymore. It's nighttime now, but you get the point. Now, have a great weekend. Have some fun. Eat something good. Do something fun. Watch some Christmas movies. Listen to some Christmas music. Eat some good food. All the good stuff. Just do it all this weekend. And then we'll see you Monday. God bless. Godspeed.